I was gonna say another weekend, more drama, but it's gonna feel like that for the rest of the season. How's everyone doing? Everyone have a good Easter weekend?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Bless.
Can't complain.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Fresh trims, yeah? Did you come from the barbershop just now? Is that why you're late?
No.
Oh. Fresh still, I can't lie.
I mean, my Easter was my weekend
I'll
was
get
good.
you. I'll get you. You know.
Don't start. Anyway, who's here today? John?
T.
Marky Mark.
Daz back in the building.
Right, energy tonight.
Yeah,
energy.
man, 100%. I'm
Energy.
looking forward to it.
Man like KEET in here.
All right, cool. Listen, I'm not going to start with the Liverpool-Arsenal game because it was on Sunday. Let's start with Saturday's fixtures. It was another weekend for a few watches. I was on Roy Watch, which backfired. I was on Lampard Watch, which didn't backfire. I was hoping Everton would pull out some magic against Man United. I was hoping for a bit too much. Early kickoff, Man United 2, Everton 0. Are they as good as gone?
Everton? I put them in my bottom three, so...
Yeah, you did.
No, but
I was
they're
definitely-
outside relegation at the moment.
man.
Yeah, but the way the points are, does that mean much these days? Just outside relegation? Does that mean anything? I mean, it's just crazy at the moment.
But you got to look at Leicester and Forrest. They're not looking too great either.
Yeah, it's still tight down there. I think we're not going to know until the final day of the season who's.
Oh, you think it's going to go down to one of those?
Yeah, going to go to. I think who's bottom? Southampton are bottom.
Yeah.
I think Southampton are as good as gone.
Yep.
But I think the 19th and 18th place.
But it's starting to
still
shake
up
out.
for grabs.
Yeah, it's starting to shake out a bit, right? So bottom three are Southampton's on 23 points, Leicester on 25, Forrest on 27, Everton are on 27. The reason that Everton above them is because of the 10-goal difference between them and Forrest. I shouldn't laugh. Sorry, Forrest fans. And then Leeds are 2 points ahead of Everton, and then Bournemouth are a point ahead, West Ham, and then 1 point. So it's starting to shake out. There's some, points differentiation between the places. Whereas when we looked at this last week, there was a large block of teams around the 27-point mark. So that's why I asked the question, because, another win or draw from Leeds and or Bournemouth, then you start to get a bit of drift. But yeah, I hear you. I don't know if it goes down to the last day for many teams. I think we're going to see 4, maybe 5 teams cut adrift. And then they're playing that whole lottery.
5 is a lot, bro.
Those 2
I
games.
think it'll probably be 3.
Well,
if anything, because
no, but if you go down to 3, then that's the bottom 3. So it has to be at least 4.
So what I mean by that is I think there's going to be 2 or 1 that's already relegated.
Oh, right. They're gone by the end of the season.
By the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then you're probably going to have 3 or 4 teams that have to win their last 1 or 2
Okay,
games.
fine.
Because even though you're saying they're cutting adrift, yeah, other teams can still get pulled back into
Oh,
it.
you're right.
Like, all it takes is for Bournemouth to lose 1 game back into it.
I guess it depends who they lose it to. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Fixtures. But I hear you. I mean, Southampton, 23 points. Mathematically, they must be close to, a few more games. They might be gone.
And I think the issue with Southampton, bar the Chelsea result a couple of weeks ago, they're not really looking that good. And in truth, Chelsea had enough chances in that game to nick a point at least. But I don't think Southampton.
That's like
actually
every
play.
Chelsea game, isn't it?
That's true.
2,000 chances.
That's why I'd say Southampton. Leicester are 19th.
Yeah.
I think I had Leicester to go down when we had the conversation last week. I'm sure we'll touch on this a bit later, but I don't see bringing Dean Smith in to help them stay up is a wise choice, considering he got sacked from Norwich in the Championship earlier this season.
Is that what is that their thinking while bringing him in?
Well, it's meant to be a short-term deal.
Is it just short-term only?
Yeah, but hold on. Let's wrap up this Manchester United game. So, again, I mean, I didn't expect any less. I was hoping for a bit of, we're fighting for our lives. Let's get a draw out of Man United. It'd be fantastic banter for me if Man United don't make the top 4. I'll probably have to get kicked out of a couple of WhatsApp groups, right? But didn't work through.
It's still Old Trafford at the end of the day. Like, I know they're not. It's not the fortress it once was, but
it's still Old Trafford.
It's still Old
It
Trafford.
was an outside hope. Did any of you guys watch the game? I didn't manage to catch it.
I didn't catch much of it, man. It was during my game,
What
so I
was-
couldn't really watch it.
I watched it.
a bit of a turning point was Fernandes playing a proper centre midfield role, and he was actually man of the match and played really well. Like, he even had Man United fans who were kind of on his back, saying, "Ooh, have we uncovered something Yeah.
So he wasn't doing his normal stat padding, like run around, play the ball sideways,
Yeah,
and play
he
one
kind of
fantastic ball.
dictated the game a little bit. So, yeah, that helped. Like, he controlled the game. And Everton's midfield wasn't great, to be honest. But, yeah, good performance from him.
Okay, Tony back on the score sheet. Big Martial. Do we see a future there for him?
No way. No way. I was surprised they even took him off the bench, to be fair.
He's been
He
there.
can't stay fit, can he? Can't stay fit.
Well, I was going to say, what's that
8-9
message? Are you
years?
talking about his fitness record or what they think he can bring to the team? Because Ten Hag has said some pretty positive things about him. He thinks Martial's really good for his system. He thinks he's an important player for them. Before he got injured, he's been injured all season. Anytime he's fit, he plays for Ten Hag. And whenever he can, he starts him. So I guess if they can get to the bottom of his fitness issues, if you're Ten Hag, do you think they keep? Because if managers always tell us it's cheaper to sign than to buy. Right?
I think you can keep him, but you can't keep him as your main number 9.
But he's on big money apparently.
I know, granted, but his fitness record goes against him. Like, you can't.
Just let him go in a free.
Yeah, well, not necessarily a free, but you just can't rely on him, man. So if someone comes in for him,
Even if he was
contract?
fit,
When's his
he's up.
when's his contract up?
Yeah.
He ain't good, is he?
You don't think he plays well when he's fit?
He's okay. He's
No,
not.
I agree with you. I think he does. I
What,
think he does.
Man United
When he's
number
fit,
9, yeah?
I think he plays well.
I think if you watch him this season, the times he's played for Man United when he's been fit, which is very few and far between, he's brought a different dynamic to the team. And I think if you check his record when he started and scored, I don't think it's that bad to be honest.
Compared to what though? Because United's been shocking. So he can come in and look all right. But it's
What you mean? You compared him to Weghorst or Wakehorst?
Weghorst.
Every week. Every week.
What, man?
got him.
To be fair, we don't know how the Dutch pronounce it, so I could be right.
Whatever.
Oh, get out of here.
Allow me.
But
yeah.
yeah, Steve McLaren. Do you remember that press conference? Steve McLaren did. He
Oh,
took
yeah.
it.
That was so
You didn't even
funny.
try to speak Dutch.
shook
He spoke
everything.
English in a Dutch accent. I don't know. Talk about cultural appropriation. Anyway,
That's
no.
hilarious.
So Martial, according to the reliable research assistant that's Google, he's got a year left on his contract, so they haven't got to make that decision for now. But the reason why I'm asking is you either find suitors this summer or you let him go for free next year. Man United's recent strategy is because he's got an option. You know they love the option of a further year. They'll probably activate that option if they don't get a suitor this year and then try and sell him on. But every year you keep him, if he's not fit, basically every year you keep him, the reason why you're trying to sell him is
Of course, yeah. If
reduces
he's
his
not
value,
playing,
right?
yeah.
So either way, if you're Martial, you're fine and good. You're fine and good. I mean, that top 4 piece now, you've got Newcastle and Man United on the same points. Newcastle's goal difference is way better than
Newcastle are coming to some form, bro. They're doing bits.
you got Tottenham who've played 1 game more and they're 3 points behind. Villa, who are 6th, I think they're out of it now. 30 games, 6 points behind Spurs. So we're looking really 2 out of the 3 from Newcastle United.
What about Brighton? Have they got any chance?
They're 7 points behind. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, if they
They got
weren't
games in
Nah.
hand.
if they weren't cheating on the
They're
weekend,
8 points. They're 8 points behind United, but they got 2 games in hand.
yeah, they would have been 3 points
Yeah,
behind
so they're in it.
Spurs.
Yeah. Well, they got a game. Sorry, they got 1 game behind United, and they got 8 points behind. It's a tough ask. If they make it, that would be a fantastic
They got
achievement.
robbed, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And we'll come on to the refs after because I want us to come up with an alternative to this. Oh, we're really sorry. See you next week, lads.
Bro.
Yeah? Don't worry, that's. We'll come into that. Come into that. So look, we're looking to out of 3. I know Spurs can be Spursy, but is it settled now? Are we really looking at the top 4 as it is? Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle United, and Manchester United. I think we're pretty much there. Someone has to slip up.
I think it's between. I think the top 2 obviously are City, Man United, and Newcastle are probably going to be the ones that end up in the top 4. But you just never know, man. Those 3, all 3 of those teams can drop points at any point. I don't know who the next games are yet, but I don't think. I mean, the form Newcastle are coming into now, perfect. Man United, they still look a bit shaky to me. Spurs, as you said, they got robbed, didn't it?
Spurs shouldn't have won that game.
They shouldn't have won that
Shouldn't
game.
have won
They
that
still
game.
look shaky to me. They're probably the only team that can go ahead and still look like they can possibly lose their game or go away with a point. So I don't know. It's touch and go, bro.
Let's go into that.
I don't think Brighton will get into that.
Tottenham, Brighton. I mean, we're predicting results on a weekly basis, right? And I had Brighton to win that game. You know, away, even though it was away. Away to Spurs, managerless. You know, Harry Kane can't save him every week, but he does. I mean, we're going to talk about them being robbed, but it wasn't just one incident. There were many incidents. Manager gets sent off.
Even the sending off for the managers, bro. The other guy didn't do anything.
Yeah, he was baffled, wasn't
The
he?
manager did
Absolutely
nothing.
crazy.
I don't know what was said.
So
Yeah, I like the character of Brighton. Like, they went 1-0 down to a really good goal from Son, and then it's like their heads don't drop.
no, they believe in the system.
They keep on going. It's like ticking over, and then I think it was Mitoma goal disallowed
for the
handball,
Yeah,
and then they got the equaliser, good header by Dunk, and then Welbeck goal disallowed.
Man, like,
Hey, his name flashed up on my phone, yeah, and I just thought,
Yeah.
good.
We were like, we got to give Mark credit.
Might have to,
Told
you
you.
know. And then I was like, it better not be a dink, you know. I hope he sorted it for a corner or something.
Rate Danny, please.
But
bro.
VAR saved me. Yeah, anyway. So let's go to the disallowed goal for the handball. Daz, talk to me, man. You're the one of the few football fans who's played and actually bothered to ref games.
Yeah.
Right? So at least you're talking with a little bit of insight.
With the handball one, I'm surprised that because from my perspective, that looked like a good goal. So I'm surprised that VAR has not got involved and been like, come and take a second look at this. So yeah, to me, it's complete robbery. I don't think they've actually acknowledged that one though. I think the only one they've admitted is the penalty
that wasn't given.
Yeah, which was blatant as well.
And I guess even to that's the one VAR did check.
Yeah.
And they still said it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is, well, the apology I've seen just says they've apologized to Brighton. VAR should have given a penalty. It was a mistake. The penalty wasn't given, but they don't give us the logic as to why they didn't give it. Tell us what you saw. It wouldn't help, but it wouldn't change anything. But at least help me thinking. It's a bit like maths. You get the answer wrong, but show me you're working.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think they need to do a little bit better with that explanation.
Yeah, I agree. I think whether it's VAR or just a referee on-field decision, I think refs should come out at the end of games and say, I did X, Y, Z because of A, B, C.
Yeah.
And I think even though it doesn't help the situation, because you're not going to get the points back if it's cost you points or whatever, but you kind of get an understanding of how referees think during games. And you can say, all right, fair enough. Like, my eye line was blocked. That's why I didn't do it. I didn't refer it to VAR because of X. And I think that makes that, like I say, you don't get the points back, but it gives you a bit of understanding of what was going through. And I just think the officials are too protected from the FA, the Premier League, etc. Just come out and say, I did this because of this.
I think we should get it during the game. It makes the game a whole lot more
Well,
enjoyable.
like rugby.
Like rugby, exactly.
I've heard that before. My only issue with that is, and rugby fans are going to kill me here, but rugby is a little bit more turn-based, right? The game is designed to stop and start.
Yeah.
So you can do something, the ball goes down. The best game for that is NFL, right? It literally is designed to start and stop.
Yeah.
I think with football, I don't know, man. Free kicks are taken quickly. It's actually an advantage. If the refs told me I can put the ball down and go. If I can't put the ball down and send you off the wing because my man's explaining rule 13.2b of why he, you know what I mean? So I think it would make it better to have the explanation.
It can be done during the VAR.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Because there's a lot of time. Sometimes it's in 3 minutes.
Not for any free kick, just the VAR decision.
Yeah.
Even just going back to what you're saying about rugby and football, American football, even if just the ref has a mic, like to say play on and stuff, I'd like to hear those things, bro.
No, I agree.
I'd like to hear every little minute, everything you said.
I think it happened in Australia. They mic'd up a ref for like a couple of their whatever their equivalent of the Premier League is.
A-League, I want to say?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And you kind of get understanding of what he's thinking. And you kind of, they might have been playing up because they knew they were mic'd up, etc. But it does help.
I'm not going to lie, boys. I've lip read some of these games on the Premier League.
Yeah, you'll be hearing the madness. You'll be hearing the madness.
It's a shame on the game, right? But Oh, you can't be micing up the
Yeah, sometimes the sideline
Harry
mic
Kane's peak
speaks
image is
offside.
done. Out.
Yeah,
You
you
know
can't
what?
have a
I
mic.
think some refs would actually want it,
Yeah, I think they
but
want to.
I think the powers that be were like, no, they won't do it. And what I'd like to know is that obviously we're the public, so we're seeing these decisions, they're not being explained, but are they being explained to the clubs?
Yeah.
So are Brighton getting further information that we're not getting?
So Brighton,
Mm.
this is their third apology from the PGMOL this season. And then the second one, Howard Webster, he actually went to the club
Mm.
and explained, like, okay, I don't know whether he explained, but De Zerbi came out and said it's pointless because
It's after the fact.
it's after the fact. So
And they say that before the season, referees go to training grounds and this is how things are going to be. This is what the new rules mean.
they meet all the captains,
Yeah.
and all that kind of jazz.
I don't know if they do a little Father Saturday ref shit. Says, hey, that's a foul this season. I don't know. But I do think on that protection point, just to take it a level below. So I think it's right that they're protected from them just being gunned after the game, right?
Mm.
So just coming at me like, that ref was rubbish, man. Blah, blah, blah. Because we know the influence managers, especially some popular players, have. And all it takes is for a Grealish or a Kane or someone to say this ref was rubbish, blah, blah, blah. And the Twitter people and Instagram people just catch on to it. What I don't like is if you give an opinion, so, you're not disparaging the individual, you just say, I don't think the referee had a good performance today. That can get you in trouble. And that's what I don't like. They should be able to be critiqued on their performance, on their job. What you should not be able to do, which we know managers have done, and they try to be clever about it, is basically call the guy an idiot. Yeah. I've seen people question referees' whole career, but in a sly way. Yeah, you should get a fine for that. But when my job is on the line, if I'm down near the bottom and your mistake is the difference between a 0-0 and a 1-0, I should be able to say, well, look, that referee's performance today, in my personal opinion, doesn't cut it. I'm a manager in the Premier League. I know I can make that distinction,
So sorry, Daz, you might be able to answer this. So at that level, are referees scored by the team? Because obviously we play Saturday ball, and then the referee's like, "Oh, what rating would you give me for this game?"
Yeah,
Does that stop when you get to like a certain level of professional football?
No, there'll be an observer at every single game. So they'll be assessed at every single game. And then the club, that observer will get feedback from the clubs as well.
Oh, okay.
They're not scored as such at Sunday League where out of 100, what did you give the referee? But they are assessed at every single game.
Yeah, which at that level makes sense, right? There's only a finite amount of games. So, and we talk about these things in extremes in terms of relegation and such. But if I'm Brighton and those that
fighting for your
potential point,
life, fighting for your life at Brighton or something.
Yeah,
it was
well-
down by the relegation zone, and
well, but even now,
getting
But
free
for them, it's not even relegation.
apologies and stuff like that.
but even now,
Champions
so you could,
Champions
Yeah, I was
League.
gonna say,
But
yeah.
I'm saying, what if it's relegation?
but I don't even think it should be.
bloody.
I think it's just as important.
apologies.
I think it's just as important. So if your 2 points is the difference between me being in the Europa and the Champions League or Europa Conference and the Europa, it's still a madness. It's still an absolute madness. People are gonna start bringing up the Brentford one about us
The offside, the
coming into the
lines.
season. If we lose the title on goal difference or by a point, trust me, like if you search Twitter for the Brentford Arsenal game, it'll probably be the most
Of
popular
the Man
tweet that
United one
weekend.
as well, don't get this. We've had 2 apologies this year, bro.
So I think they need to do better in terms of the VAR, how VAR is used. And I don't know whether it's a case of actually this is not about, oh, you know what, Daz, you've been a ref, you've been on the field. You should, now come and be a VAR assistant referee.
Yeah.
It might have to just become its own specific job.
But one of the issues is as well, the Premier League, the way the Premier League used VAR is different from the way it was used at the World Cup and in the Champions League.
In what way? What
So-
It's
they-
automated more. In the World Cup, it was more automated. It was quicker as well.
No, so
Oh,
the
that
World,
was
so
just
the World
offsides.
Cup,
That's
World Cup,
offsides.
so the automated stuff. But in the Champions League, there's more kind of leeway given to the attackers and
Okay.
how you looked at handballs, etc. So they haven't taken a like for like.
Yes.
They've taken it, tweaked it,
Yeah.
and it hasn't seemed to work.
Because in the Prem, there are only certain instances you can VAR, right?
Yeah.
You can't just VAR every
Not
decision.
everything.
No.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think different leagues apply VAR differently. We've seen some interesting stuff. What was the game you were at? And then he booked the guy for diving.
Twice.
Oh, the Leverkusen game.
Yeah.
So
we can laugh
two
at
penalties,
Yeah.
basically said he dived twice,
Got booked
gave him a
twice.
yellow card twice.
and then we see
VAR.
both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can laugh at the ref, but that's a great example of where,
Far work.
well, in the
It's
past,
working.
that guy's he's getting sent off. Well,
Yeah.
he might have got sent off.
Yeah.
He might have got sent off, right? So, yeah, I think it's getting to the point now where you're hearing, journalists who are in front of lots of football fans talking about scrapping it. Saying, look, we need to put this on ice until we can get it right. I don't agree with that because as long as humans are involved, you just got to keep doing it until we get better. The technology is fine in my mind, right? The technology is fine. The only thing I would worry about is I've heard things about, they haven't got the same camera angle, we've got something. You hear Sky or some broadcasters say that. They need to solve that. Whatever angle anyone's had, VAR should have every single one of them.
Yeah.
It should look like Minority Report in there.
No,
But-
the reason why it's done like that, VAR, they have 6 cameras around the ground, and Sky or whatever could have 100 cameras.
Yeah.
But the 100 cameras that Sky have got, VAR can't use them. They can only use the 6 that they've got specifically for VAR, and it's all to do with collaboration and timing and stuff like that. This Sky's camera, it's not collaborated, so they know when the ball has left the player's foot for like an offside. So they can't use that camera. They can
I
only use
understand that.
That's
they can only
offside,
use
though.
they can only
do
use their
other
6.
things.
They can only
They
use
could
their
use the
6.
I
cameras
agree,
for
but
that.
I think they should have those 6 plus be able to call on those additional angles if need be. Because again, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've had incidents where actually a different angle shows a very, very different incident, but they haven't got access to that. So I agree. I don't think they should replace it with those cameras.
Yeah.
But the ones where they need the calibration, you're right, to draw the lines and all of that. Of course, keep those.
Yeah.
But when you've got a tackle or an incident, just to the left of the centre circle, just past the halfway line, they should have access to those.
Yeah.
To those
Because we've had a
angles.
couple instances this season where those 6 cameras, because of where they're positioned, the player who's offside or the subject has not been in shot.
Liverpool v Wolves.
Yeah, it happened at Arsenal, Liverpool as well.
Yeah,
and
see?
Saka.
Yeah,
Saka was actually offside, but the camera didn't pick him up.
yeah.
So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so what you do? Add more cameras?
No, I just think it will never be 100% perfect. And we're not asking for that, but, well, I'm not. Twitter fans are asking for everything to be perfect all of the time, right? It's not life. But I do think if someone else, Sky and all these broadcasting companies are paying a lot of money to show football, in terms of making the decision slightly easier, those officials should have access to those cameras as well. The calibration bit is tough because you see technologies like Hawkeye, etc. It took them a long time to figure that stuff out for it to be used. And that's just, in a largely individual sport, one person to one person and a set of lines. It took ages to get that goal line technology to a point where it could work in the Prem. And then we had someone blocking the camera, so it didn't work, So it will never be perfect. But I think we just need to give them a bit more tools. And Howard Webb needs to do something about the standard there.
Yeah. My only issue is a foul is not a foul across the board. A handball is not a handball across the board. You can have 10 referees looking at the same incident, and 5 of you will give you one a handball, and the other 5 won't. So it's not the actual technology.
No, of course not. It's the humans.
It's the humans,
Yeah.
humans using it. Where I don't understand how you can meet they get 2 months off in the summer to review all the incidents. How come the next season they're still getting these incidents wrong where they say, right, the handball starts from the top of the shoulder down.
Yeah.
If it hits there, it's a handball. They should know what's kind of what's unnatural position, what's a natural position. You kind of get to work, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but you can kind of see what's a natural position and unnatural.
What I struggle to fathom is
They should just have an agreement of what's what, man. Like,
no, but they do. But I guess
There's
what I
opinions,
struggle
though.
with
Yeah,
is
have
it's
those
like a
opinions.
judgment call.
Even as
But
fans,
we're
we-
all
I'm
humans.
saying it
It's
shouldn't,
gonna
but
be-
it shouldn't be an opinion. There should be, this is it. Like,
no, but
No,
and
but
that
it's
takes it out.
human
Yeah.
error, though.
The image, what the video is showing you, isn't clear cut enough for you to apply that very black and white bit. But then you do see stuff like Mitoma's one, and 99.8% of us will say that was an handball. Unfortunately, one of the 0.2% was sitting in the video. Well, they didn't even look at it.
Do you know what it was,
on
though?
that one.
With that one, the linesman gave it as handball.
Yep.
And so the judgment call changed to, can I see enough to change that call to say it's not handball. I believe had the guy been given the goal and not said anything, I think that goal would have been given because that, so VAR, if they're not 100% certain it's a mistake, they will go with the on-field decision, and the on-field decision was that it was handball. So that's why I believe that.
So
that
do you
was
think
made.
scrapping it has to be a clear and obvious error should get scrapped? If it's just up for debate, just take it to VAR, because it only goes to VAR if it's a clear and obvious error. So if you get rid of that clear and obvious,
I think everyone wants. I think everyone wants the referee to give as many decisions as possible.
I think that's changing now.
Talking now, you know what I think they should do? It should be what sport? It's a bit like tennis. You got 3 calls.
A challenge.
And cricket,
challenge.
Cricket as well.
Even if it's not whatever obvious, say to ref, big man, VAR that, please.
Yeah.
Right? But you've got 3. And you can't use all 3 in the first half. You know that kind of vibe?
I think they'll have 1. I think they'll start with 1.
Yeah.
But 3 is probably too much for 90 minutes.
What, over 90 minutes?
Yeah.
One each half.
One each half.
One each half would probably be better,
Yeah. All right, Faye, don't let me anywhere near your process.
Can I just say one thing though? I'm glad that they are actually acknowledging mistakes and coming out, because that's a new thing. I've never heard of them actually coming out. I think it's something that Howard was.
When it's that obvious, bro, they have to.
Mistakes have been going on for years. They've never come out and said this is the actual mistake.
When you've got VAR, and you're looking at something and you still get it
They
wrong.
still don't have to come out and say, you know what, this was a different mistake.
That is right. Early days of VAR, we weren't getting public apologies though. Early days when it was all a bit higgy.
Yeah, but
we
the pressure
I think it's a Howard Webb thing.
Yeah, I think it's Howard Webb. Yeah,
he's how can I put this politely? He's always loved it a bit, innit?
Yeah.
So
has this been the worst season of VAR?
No, I don't think so.
It'd be interesting to look at the end of the season, because they normally do a table of.
I think the first one was worse.
Teams that have got.
It's always going to be worse as transition, isn't it? But you'd have to look at the stats to actually justify what it is.
When people ain't drawing lines and that's crazy, bro.
But you see that
he's not there no more, innit?
That's just a man who didn't do his job that day.
Well, that one incident had like 2-3 offsides in it. That one incident to cancel, to cancel a goal.
You can't blame.
Free chance.
You can't blame VAR for
to draw
that.
the
You can't blame VAR. That's just a man that just didn't do his job. Did he get fired?
Yeah. Well, he got mutually basically fired.
No, that's mad.
Basically, he was checking the foul for so long. He forgot to draw the line. He forgot there was a second incident.
That's harsh, man.
But how is that harsh?
I think it's pressure as well. I think
we're talking about millions of pounds of money, bro. I don't like that for anybody. But that's a lot of money on the line.
There's a foul here and there's an offside.
Yeah, so check the foul first.
But why is it just one man as well?
He just forgot his job. He just
But it shouldn't be just one man though.
No, I swear there's like 3 of them in the truck.
yeah, just ask.
Or wherever it's
You know that.
Surveillance truck.
watching too much CSI.
Yeah, we got him.
One thing you said about in Europe, UEFA, they use it differently. They have more people in there. So I believe it's 3 people for the Premier League, but in UEFA they have about 6 or 7. So the team is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So that's
3 is enough though, no? Surely one of them should be looking at the foul. The other one should be looking at the line.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the 3 people are doing, did it?
What are they doing in there then?
Yeah.
But with anything where the human has to operate it, there was always someone was just going to do madness. I can't believe he's lost his job. He couldn't like.
No, Jay, he was solely a VAR operator. He didn't ref any more games. His only job
was to look
at the screens.
Listen,
and he got
that was any of our jobs. We don't get fined for that.
You would if you're doing a job that is critical and you make a big mistake like that. Of course you're getting fired.
And you're not even called upon for the whole 90 minutes.
You're getting paid a hefty salary and you don't know how to do your job. That's what that's saying.
He made a mistake.
That's not knowing how to do your job.
Hold on, you know what? I'm talking like I know if that's the first mistake he made. Maybe he just wasn't good over.
It wasn't the first mistake as well. That wasn't the first mistake.
Well, his one.
Yeah, that wasn't the first mistake.
Oh,
so
it as well.
What do we think about the time it takes? Because I believe that mistake was made because of the time. We've got this pressure around VAR that, oh my God, it takes so long, all these outsiders.
Honestly,
so there's
I don't
pressure.
care.
Yeah.
But you've taken so long, so you might as well just take longer. And
I don't care.
I agree.
Yeah,
You need to get the right
the
decision.
pressure.
At the time,
they're always worried about, oh, the fans are sitting there doing nothing. But
I
I'd
don't
rather
care.
get
But the only issue with that is
the right decision.
a lot of the fans in the stadium don't know what's going on. So that's another point with VAR, where things are referred,
Yeah.
and then sometimes there's not a screen. So like if you're at Anfield, for example, we haven't got any screens. We just got the scoreboard. So
No screens.
I'm glad the boys are back down to London, man.
it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. I'm just saying
Trenches
that the fans don't always
Someone
know.
hold up a ball and let VAR.
The fans don't always know what's going on. So
Yeah.
there should There should be
I
some
think they should
communication
play
in
the
the
whole
stadium.
thing. I think they should
But
play it
other
on
than
the
that,
screens
take as
well.
long as take as long as it
Go on,
takes.
T.
I think they should play it on the screens as well.
Yeah.
Whatever
What, the actual incident?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Why wouldn't he play the whole
Slippery
incident?
slope. No.
If it is where it is,
I think it can
VAR,
rile
innit?
up,
So
rile up.
no, because
unless it's clear, it
Listen,
can still rile up the crowd.
I'll give you a good example.
a handball, an offside, you can see the lines they've drawn, so you can, so the fans inside can see what's going on.
I
what they're
appreciate
doing.
your transparency, yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. If it's a spicy game, yeah, it's already spicy. You've just done a nice Terrell special on the left back because you're a winger, you can't tackle. Yeah,
Lifted man up.
we do not need that replaying from 3 different angles of the screen for the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, like when boxing or UFC fights over and they show the replay,
yeah.
and you hear the crowd go, ooh.
Nah, we're not doing that.
I suppose
Don't do that.
offsides you could, because that's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only type of instance that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
yes,
time it takes, I don't care.
Yeah, just add it on. Add it on.
Yeah, I've been in the stadium waiting. Well, I care that the decision is right.
That's
and,
it.
And fans care when it doesn't benefit them, innit?
Mm.
When it's their team and it's a goal, they'll wait 40 minutes
Yeah,
for the goal to get awarded.
Yeah.
So I'm not hearing any of that. Well, look, VAR, we've talked, again, another week, we've talked too much about you. Sort it out. Anyway. Lampard Watch. Wolves 1, Chelsea 0. Now look, yeah, I'm going to get all my pragmatic nonsense out of the way first. He's only been there a few days. He wasn't going to right all the wrongs of their, excessive transfer policy. Yada. Okay, fine, done. Let's cook him. Listen.
Can you really cook him though? It's not his team, bro.
I can, man.
Yeah.
No,
Can't
you
cook
can't.
him
We're
yet.
just cooking him for the sake of Lampard, bro. It's not his.
No, we're
Can't
cooking
cook
him
him yet.
because he's not a good manager.
Yeah, but that's aside from the game though. The game had nothing to do with him not being a good
Well,
manager.
it's not him I want to cook. It's the club.
Okay,
Because
yeah,
I
let's
think
cook
this
the
was a
club.
slightly lazy decision.
Oh, very.
Because as much as we weren't super happy with the Roy Hodgson thing at Palace, right? I think that was more the affinity for Vieira, and we felt that actually whatever a manager's gonna come in and do, with the run of games and the difficulty of those fixtures easing, Vieira could have done it anyway, right? Lampard hasn't got anything in his history that says if you appoint him, you are going to get a different result over those 8 games than what you were getting with your previous manager. That was clearly you're a fan favourite. People think we don't know what we're doing. I beg, enter the job, give us some respite whilst we go and wheel out a superstar manager in July or August. And actually, now we're giving you a third chance in your managerial career. If you do well, you can keep the job. Win-win. We've brought back Super Frank. And then on the first instance, it goes wrong.
He's saying his Derby County resume isn't good enough.
Well, you heard the story about how he got the Derby County job, right?
Yeah, but how he got it or whatever the case was, he did well at Derby County.
He didn't get them promoted, did he?
He got to the final.
No, they
No,
lost
not
the
to-
playoff
not-
final.
they didn't get
They lost
employed.
the
Right,
final.
Okay.
That's
So-
well. He did well.
Okay, let me ask you a different way. Did what he achieved at Derby County, use the word achieved, lightly, is that typically enough for a manager to get a job at Chelsea Football Club?
If you
No.
didn't have his experience with Chelsea, no. So other managers wouldn't get
What
that
experience?
job.
He's playing experience.
He's playing experience. If he wasn't a Chelsea legend, he wouldn't have got that job. Let's
So
be
why
frank.
did Thierry Henry did he get the Arsenal job?
I don't know, man. Because he was Martinez's assistant.
Well, like, how many seasons have we-
When he got the Chelsea job, it was a bit of a gimme because they were under the transfer ban. So getting in an established manager, say you can't spend any money for 2 transfer windows. He done okay at Derby to warrant getting that job, considering, like Mark said, who he is. But it was a free hit for him that season. It's like, right, I've got no money to spend. I'm just going to come in and work with what I've got, and
He did well.
he done all right.
He did
done all right.
very well. I think they done very well. Got
Yeah,
top
yeah.
4.
Yeah, so
FA Cup,
yeah.
FA Cup final.
under different circumstances, I don't think he would have got that job.
Look, I think Frank is an okay manager. I don't think he's a poor manager. And I think it's with people that are, let's just say in football, famous, and people feel like nepotism will help them, they always swing it to like extremes. He's not a poor manager, but I don't think he's the manager of the caliber that Chelsea needed to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
He did okay there. And then he went to Everton, didn't do well there. There might be an argument that actually some managers can't do well at clubs Everton. Like, it's all well and good and saying, oh, even at Everton you can do well. I don't know. If I roll up Jose Mourinho to Everton with those players,
Well,
he might walk back out.
Ancelotti
That's a
was-
terrible.
Just
That's a
about to say,
terrible
yeah,
job.
how much
Terrible.
Ancelotti
Terrible.
was
No
there?
one does well ever.
I don't even know
What did he
Ancelotti
do
signed, to be honest.
Ancelotti got to spend.
No, but what did he do? That,
Like, they were going in the right direction. They weren't moving mad how they are now. They were going in the right direction.
Yeah, they weren't relegation.
Yeah, but
they weren't.
as soon as he looked at it, Madrid coming, he was like, "Oh, now see you later."
No, of course, it's
Yeah.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Everyone would do that. Everyone
You're
would
at
do that.
Everton, man.
But even with Frank, like Frank came into Everton the back end of season before. No, was it? Last season.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it? It
He
was last
saved them
season.
from relegation. Basically.
And barely. I don't think he should have stayed over that summer because there were signs that his football
Wasn't good.
at Everton wasn't good enough to
But his argument,
sustain in the Premier League.
and I remember him saying this at the time, was, I'm doing what I'm going to need to do to keep us up. And so they're probably hoping he keeps us up, and then we'll see the more expansive, I don't want to use the word expansive, he might not claim to be an expansive football manager,
but a
but
different style.
yeah, something that was a bit more progressive, wasn't as boring to watch, etc., which never materialized. So let me ask you guys a different question then. What does success look like for Frank this season? Because as I said, you sacked Potter, you were never in danger of relegation, right? So it's not like you were in a Pat V situation. You know, you had a cushion, they had a 7 or 8 point cushion to the next person, not even to relegation, to the next team below them. You're not making Champions League. You're not making
unless you
Europa.
win it.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you win it. You've got Real Madrid, the most successful Champions League team of the last decade, next. So whoever you bring in, I don't care who they are. You could bring Pep, yeah? Barring Pep, you're the underdog for those fixtures. So you're going to go out of the Champions League anyway. So actually, what is success or failure for Frank? I think, again, he's got a free hit.
There isn't nothing. Yeah, there isn't nothing that's success or failure.
makes it even worse.
It's just basically playing 8 games. You needed someone there. It was more about getting Potter out more than getting Frank in. I don't think the plan was even to bring Frank in. They just needed to get Potter out.
So
And
let's
then-
say
Yeah, but again, sorry. But then why then? Because as we just explained, we kind of laid
I
out a
think
picture where...
I think it's to do with the fans, the pressure that how the team was playing. They just thought, oh, you know what, we can't go any further with this now.
Rather than a whole...
let's just cut him.
Rather than a wider like footballing...
Yeah, I think it was just about
decision.
then get Potter out. Like they didn't bring Frank in straight away. They didn't know what they were doing. It's
Yeah.
only then his assistant Bruno was taking a couple of games, and I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work either.
Yeah.
Let's get someone. So and who's gonna take the job for 8 games? Anyone decent? Nobody.
No. I think someone decent
Yeah,
would have taken
someone would
it.
have.
Bro,
Money.
These 8 games, is essentially throwaway games, isn't it? So you could come in, implement your style, run it into the pre-season, and then next season you're running smoothly.
To that point, Daz, you know who the kind of manager, I know he's already been there, who would have used the 8 games like a real training thing, Tuchel.
Yeah.
Tuchel strikes with the kind of manager who'd be like, right, we've got 8 games, we've got the Real Madrid games, and kind of tinkered with it in that way. And to be honest, by the end of that 8 games, he knows if you're staying or not.
Exactly.
Next season, you're gone. You're out.
Now a new manager comes in, they don't know who they want to keep, who they want to get rid of. They
No,
got
I
hope.
think they know who they want to get in the summer. But
Yeah, but that manager doesn't know.
Yeah,
who he
exactly.
wants, so.
So
I
what they finish?
think they've spoken to the manager, and the manager said, "Yeah, I'm coming in the summer."
You think so? You think that's sorted?
I think so. Yeah.
Because apparently a couple of things with some of the higher caliber managers has been, how much control will I have when I get there? Like, you know, what is your model? How does it exactly work? Because they got 2 people doing the director of football thing there as well. So they got co-directors of football. Strange. I don't know what's going on there and why, but fair enough. So it's interesting. T, what do you think about?
I don't know.
It's a
man.
weird one, isn't it?
I said Chelsea are in tatters, isn't it? last episode. But I just don't think they know what they're doing, bro. Like Frank, like you lot said, he's got a free hit. Don't matter what he does, really. If who knows? He might be able to pull off something. Maybe, who knows? A good showing at Real Madrid or back at the Bridge. You never know. That might put him in.
But what if they finish in the bottom half
whatever.
of the table? Like they're only.
But that you can't blame him for that.
Can't.
Well, yeah, of course you can.
No, you can't.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
You can't really blame him for that.
bro.
Why not?
What if
Because
he does
the whole season-
Yeah.
So if he does well, you can praise him. But if he doesn't,
No,
you
I'm
can't.
saying, I'm looking at the Champions League and I'm thinking he could make a name for himself again if he does
see them
something in the Champions
doing
League. It's a
anything
cup
Champions League. But
competition.
they're only 6 points behind, ahead of Crystal Palace, which is crazy to think of. And the way they're playing, that swing could happen.
Lost 11 games this season.
Mad.
They've won 4 games in 6 months.
You know what? You said a minute ago.
That's mental.
Essentially, yeah, if he does poorly, or if they continue in this poor form,
Yeah.
you can't blame him. If he does well, you can blame him because they weren't doing well before. So you can not blame him. So you can
Like
give him the
praise
credit.
him.
You can praise him for it.
Can I just ask
They
you
weren't
guys
doing
a
well
question though?
Go on.
If you was Chelsea's come to your top manager and they said you're our next manager, you've agreed to take the job. They said you can either come in now or you can come in and start fresh in the summer. Which one would you do?
I'm coming in now. Depending on what my current team is doing, let's say if I'm going for a Champions League, then I'm obviously going to wait. If I'm going for a title or a cup, I'm going to wait.
End of the season.
But if I've got nothing going for
I'm not tarnishing my team.
Yeah,
I would
go in the season. I wouldn't come in now.
Wait. That's your question. If you're currently employed or you're a free agent.
Both, either or.
I'm currently employed. I'm not turning up to pre-season. Sorry, lads. I'm not leaving my team now to do that.
Exactly.
But if I'm free agent, if I'm Nagelsmann, I'm coming in now.
If you're fighting and stuff,
I'm taking the free hit. You know how we called it a free hit for other managers? I'm taking a free hit. You're not firing
that's
me.
not a free hit.
It's a free hit though. It's not a free hit if you're a permanent manager. It's not a free hit.
It is a free hit
for Frank. For someone else.
It's a free hit for Frank because he's coming for this period. That's it. It's not going to be a free hit if you got a 5-year contract and you come in now and then nothing changes because these players are stained already.
It'd still be a free hit.
No, I totally agree with you.
Not doing anything. They're not like nothing's happening.
It'd still be a free hit.
If I come in now and I end up in and around the same place I'm in now, right? So I come in now, John Nagelsmann, and
say you win 4, you lose 4, or
let's be realistic. Let's say I win 1, draw 3, and lose the rest.
Yeah, realistic. Oh
so
no!
Let's say I finish 10th or 12th, like in that range. Bro, I'm not getting fired. I'm in a position where I'm having serious dialogue with my director of football and saying, look, this is what's wrong, this is what... I understand what you two are saying. That's why if I'm employed, I'm not leaving that club. But I guess the devil's in the detail, but I'm having a conversation with them. To your point, my response to your question is this. Consider the rest of this season, apart from the Champions League, a write-off, right? I'm going to use this as an extended kind of assessment period to inform how we move in the summer. Champions League, I'm going to try and win that. Yeah? I'm going to go to Real Madrid and try and cause an upset and win that competition. And if you get the feeling back that, okay, cool. Basically, no matter what happens, you're here in the summer, fine. If I get the vibes that actually, in 6 games, if you're moving mad, you're elf, then I'm not coming to the summer. But I do think it could be an opportunity to, because there's going to be some players that they might think of letting go now. You might work with them and be like, actually, he needs to stay.
Exactly.
Right? And there's other players they've brought in that the directors of football think are great. You work with them and be like, nah, for your system, because the thing is these days, especially with those kind of managers, they're so precise and system focused now. We've got people like Pep coming out and saying that one of the best right backs, of the last 10 years can't play this system. And he's not dissing him. He's just saying he hasn't got attributes to play this system. So I would personally, go in there. Says me who's never managed a professional team. But that's the logic I would use.
It's a free hit. No matter how you look at it, I think it's a free hit. It's just Frank's got nothing to play for. The new manager is playing for next season.
But I would to counter that, I would say, right, say that manager comes in for the 8 games, say he does what John said, the 1 win, draws and rest losses, and then he starts the next season with that same record. It's not a free hit because you're counting the previous season.
Straight away, you haven't won for 10 games now. Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Fans straight away. As soon as you put it on tape, that's it. Yeah. Like, you're being judged.
That's fair.
As soon as
you can come in fresh, pre-season, fresh. We ain't got no games. We got friendlies.
Nothing behind me.
Training ground and boom, and I can have a list of players I don't want.
They have a point because you can see their stats now. It's the second game of the next season.
Yeah.
John Nagelsmann has now lost 6 games in a row. This is the second game. Going all the way to back to last season. You'll have what you were saying. TV.
You're taking it.
They haven't won in the summer.
They haven't won at the bridge in the last 10.
Everything is stats based now. Like people love to roll out a stat.
I hate them.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, guys, it's still August. And then I'm like, they're carrying it. He's in a win streak of 8 games.
No, but hear this, but to what you were saying, let's say not an argument, someone that's in another job comes in, they get the job, they can go to the higher ups and say, listen, this player, I don't care if we've just bought him recently.
Yeah.
He's not for me, or send him on loan because he's not ready.
Yeah, I agree.
This new manager's coming in summer and he's starting from there.
Bruv, he's playing...
He's not getting rid of anybody. He's playing everyone that they've just
bought. Sun Lake FC in America pre-season.
Exactly. He's not going to see what this guy's potentially...
But they can still assess not being the manager. So he can still have his system. And if you come in the summer, you can already tell the club that I don't want X, Y, and Z. So get all the dirty work out the way when you're not there.
Training is different to the pitch, bro.
I tell you what though, is there a view that the game is where you see the real player, right?
This is it. Training's different to the pitch. To match.
So my point is actually, if he only watches games and analyzes games, he's gonna see the real player. Whereas when I turn up on the Tuesday in July, you're gonna show me the best Mark. Yeah?
Exactly.
Taking free kicks, right foot, left foot, all of that.
Exactly.
And then on Saturday, you can't even pass down the line to Modric.
This is it.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. But well, they've made a decision now. Frank's gone there. He's not put any points on the board yet. Let's see. I mean, looking at their fixtures, I shouldn't laugh. But we've got Real Madrid.
Ouch. When's that game? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Jeez.
I think they're Wednesday. I'll check in a second. Then they've got Brighton at home.
They're not winning that.
Then Real Madrid again. Then they've got a Man United game which has been postponed. The way Man United are playing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea gets out of them.
Is that FA Cup final, semi-final weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they've got Brentford at home.
Oh,
Bruv,
You know
that's
what?
all
You don't-
losses.
You've just said to me,
That's a
loss.
That's all else. man.
Wait, are you still taking a job?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not taking that job.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, it's a
crazy.
free hit, bro.
Yeah.
Let
No
me tell
way.
you
That's
more
never.
Wait, let me tell you more fixes. Hold on.
Oh,
Then you got Arsenal away.
That's never a free hit, bro.
Man
Then you got
City.
Bournemouth away who are fighting for their lives. Maybe you're fighting for your lives with them. Yeah? Then they got Forrest at home. Second to last game of the season. Guess who your last game of the season is?
Who?
City. Who at that point are
That's definitely a free hit.
either trying to nick the title or are trying to maintain their lead and not have Arsenal nick it from them. So
out
you're
of
not
those
winning that
fixtures,
game.
Well,
I can only see them.
Bournemouth
Yeah, like if they don't pick up a point until Bournemouth,
You could
I
lose
wouldn't be
every
surprised.
single game.
until
I
Bournemouth.
think they'll beat Brentford.
And then you're not
Brentford was
Nagelsmann.
in there. I think they'll beat Brentford.
Yeah, you know what,
You
guys?
see Brentford on
I'm
Saturday.
changing my answer.
Beat them.
I'm not taking that job. still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to us. Listen to
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
No, I still think it's still like a period of going in and seeing what you can do.
Because what I
needs
failed
be
to do
done.
was look at the fixtures before I answered. Just look at that.
I
That
don't,
is
think, I don't think it
crazy.
makes a difference.
That's-
Man.
yeah.
You still need to go in an assessment before the summer, man. You get more. That's your preseason starts now, whereas most other managers, their preseason starts when you get back in August.
Not to the
Or whenever it
fans,
is.
bro.
Yeah, not to the
Yeah.
fans, but bruv, they're gonna know
that
this is.
counts.
No. Because
I think it's easier to make an assess, like to be, because once you go in there, you meet people and stuff like that. I think it's harder to say, no, I don't want him. But if you've got no affinity to anyone, you can just make that assessment without having any sort of
And
bias.
personality
And
matters,
no,
and
no,
connection.
you've got no personal opinions on anyone.
Well, if he's Nagelsmann, I hope he turns up on his skateboard in West London. I want to see it. I want to see how that goes down. All right, so moving on briefly, I'll just pick out some of the. There will be matches, I guess, but Bournemouth, Leicester. Bournemouth needs another 3 points.
Yeah, Madison mistake, weren't it?
Yeah, Leicester. God, I mean, we talked about earlier that apparently Dean Smith's going to come into Leicester on a short-term contract.
Yeah.
Another Hail Mary, come in, shore it up, but they need wins, right? Like, it's not just about coming in and making them defend better. They need wins. Was he ever known as some kind of expansive, super attacking manager? I don't remember that.
you played all right football with Norwich.
He did. All right football, but
No, remember, he wasn't at Norwich long. Because remember, his main job was Villa, innit?
Yeah.
And then he got replaced by Stevie. Then he jumped into the Norwich hot seat
I
quite
think
quickly.
overall solidity was their thing. Yes, in
Yeah.
the Championship, they batted it up. No disrespect to Championship, but when you got certain caliber of players, you will do that.
Well, you say that. Remember, he got sacked from Norwich this season.
Yeah, they didn't have the tools, I guess. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
But I
So
think
if
he
you're
was
Leicester-
unlucky at Villa though. At the time that
Yeah,
they
I
sacked
agree.
him
Yeah,
to
yeah.
bring Stevie in, that was,
Yeah.
I think that was more about we got a chance of getting a big name.
Yeah,
in
to
Gerrard,
your
let's
point
get
about
him
the
out.
other job, that was more about getting Stevie in than getting
Yeah,
Dean Smith.
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
absolutely.
most definitely.
And I guess what it lends to, if you listen to some of what's out there, is they have spoken to a couple of people. They've asked themselves the same question you asked at work, and they've said no. So apparently they did speak to Potter, and he said, nah. Again, all alleged. We heard reports of speaking to Benitez. All of a sudden now that's turned into Dean Smith being appointed on a short-term deal. That would suggest Benitez didn't think it was a challenge he wanted to take on.
Yeah,
Jesse Marsh, yeah.
Then there was Jesse Marsh. Apparently, talks broke down yesterday. So, without being disrespectful to Dean Smith, it just kind of seems that actually they've arrived at someone who could do a job for them in the last 8 games of the season. And I reckon they're looking to next season as well.
What's happened to Big Sam? Is he retired? Don't he do this no more?
No, because of the England thing. So he's sort of
He's done.
he's been
toxic.
blacklisted since that,
Yeah, bro. It's probably a toxic.
Swear down.
Yeah.
Has he not had a job since then?
I don't think so, you know.
No,
I don't think so. Who's he managed since?
Bro, are you sure?
I think he had a job after, didn't he?
Bro, when it comes to the relegation survival, bro,
Yeah,
it's
but-
the man, bro.
Yeah,
Do you think
but-
I'm listening to anyone if I need my club to stay up?
Sean Dyche is the new Big Sam. Bro.
Yeah.
Do you think there's
Okay, we'll
like
see. If they're in trouble, bro.
I think there's things around players though. I think what we don't know, because again there's been things said about how Sam dealt with players and some of the off the field stuff, with Morrison, etc. If you're a club owner, there's probably you know how they talk to each other, etc. They
They want
probably
the
will say,
stigma,
"You know
innit?"
what? I don't need the grift that it comes with. But I hear what he's saying. 150 million, give me some grift about Sam. 150 million.
And
Yo,
that's
Sam.
just couple games, bruv. He's coming in for that bread.
You see, with Dean Smith potentially going to Leicester, do you think there's not a lack of managers around, but do you think clubs feel they've got to get an established manager in? So, Southampton, you've got Nathan Jones, who came from Luton, didn't quite work out. But do you think teams feel they have to go for like a name that their fans know in order for there to be a bit of a morale boost? Because there seems to be like the same names being regurgitated all the time when these kind of jobs come up. Like, surely there's
I think
someone.
it's a combination of things. You're right. I think there is, because you got to think about the people who are making these appointments. Again, not all of these clubs have, directors of football, etc. So some of these are chairmen who, yes, they've been in the football game a long time, but they're businessmen at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
They've never managed, scouted, etc. So they're taking advice, and it's generally advice from people who have their own network. They're going to help their network first, right? Then there's also, the fan piece. So, there was a time where if your club is in trouble and you managed to get Big Sam, you would have fans say, well, look, football's not going to be great, but at least he's going to deliver. Whereas now, people might say, I don't know if that's the right thing for our club, etc., etc. So I just think it's a combination of two where, what do the optics look like? And secondly, what are the football advisors? What are they advising that individual? And what they advise is generally based on their network. That's my opinion and my limited. If Sam Allardyce is one of your guys, if you ring me, I'll be like, well, look, Sam's available. Mark's available. Same kind of thing. And we don't know. They might have called Sam and he's like, I'm not doing that. If I come back to the game, it's got to be a something that's going to benefit me in a certain way.
Nah, I don't think he's like that, man.
At
don't
the
think so?
moment,
Nah.
at the moment, I'll say it's a lot to do with timing.
Yeah.
Because you got less than 10 games left
Yeah.
of the season. I think you're gonna go for someone who's established and known. I don't think you can sort of gamble at this point of the season.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in the summer we'll start hearing new names
And
and new
established
managers.
and known at doing that as well. Because we've got that little basket of firefighters, isn't it? So established and known at doing that. Sam Allardyce, Dyche, he at least had a bit more time.
Yeah.
But when you look at people like Allardyce and co, they normally get, like I said in the previous episode, they're normally getting called around Christmas. At least the man's got,
Yeah.
19
I guess
games.
that all the managers that have been sacked
Yeah.
in the last kind of year or so, whenever a job comes up, their names
Yeah,
are being thrown into the mix. I just wanted to kind of
Do clubs
get your opinions.
scout managers like they do players? Though? Do they have a list of managers that they would like to go to?
I
Obviously,
think
not the name. The
I think
name,
only
big
certain
names.
clubs do. So I think Southampton did because they brought over Poch and the guy who got before Nathan Jones, Hassan Hootle.
Yep.
You can see Brighton have.
Yes.
Granted, they got Potter from Swansea, but you can see like they've got.
I think
I think certain clubs do. Yeah.
It's the clubs that are more strategic.
Yeah.
Generally, they're not just strategic with players, they're just strategic with everything. So they'll be looking at who's doing well in a certain league, who has certain ideas. So it's always funny when someone gets appointed, all the people that magically knew about them before, right? But to be fair, the people who watch a lot of games in the game, they're saying, look, people have been talking about De Zerbi for some time. Like, he was doing good things, and it was always a thing of it's going to be a point where he gets a team in the Premier League or one of the other big leagues gives him. It's just like me and you. I don't know who the next De Zerbi is. I'll be honest. I don't know. But yeah, I think the strategic clubs, especially the ones with directors of football, it's not just about the players. They look at the whole coaching staff, the academy setup, all of that stuff all the way through, right?
But generally speaking, it would be the sort of mid-table to lower teams that would bring these managers in, right? Because the bigger teams will be going for the
Yeah, I
bigger
agree.
names.
Yeah.
But those bigger teams are looking at them and saying, well, if he goes to Brighton and does his thing, That's what they should be doing. So I would expect that Tottenham's a good example, right?
Mm.
They're not title winners, but they're not a mid-table team. Yeah, you need to have done a thing to come and manage there. I would expect that they have an eye on a few managers where, in whatever top European league, if they do well, they would be a candidate for that job should they need it. I'd be very surprised. If
I don't think they're getting a big name, you know.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think
Who,
they're going
what
to
do
get
you
a big
mean?
name.
Not a big name.
Like
Like
a-
you just think
Mourinho, Conte. I think they're going to go for like, well,
or like a tier 2 manager.
someone with a philosophy. Maybe this
Give
time.
them some time.
Yeah, I think they've done the let's win now type of manager. This guy's gonna win. He known for winning. and
20 million a
whatever. Yeah, and all
Come and
that.
get us something.
Done it, innit? So I think now what's left to do? Like they gotta try
back,
something.
Like, who do they have? Nunes.
Nunes,
before.
I was going to say that.
Something
Yeah.
like back to that kind of mold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think, and I hope they're not scarred by that, right? Because the logic of getting Nunes in was right. He did well with Wolves. They had some consistent seasons in the Prem.
Oh, Nuno.
Yes, sorry, Nunes. Nuno.
So,
Leading me astray, bro.
I mean, that's all the streams. That's
And he'd worked with players that weren't that known. The network had brought in a lot of the Portuguese players, etc. So that was on paper a logical appointment if you want to do what you did. I just
Do
hope
you
they're
think-
not scarred away. I don't hope they're not scarred away from
because
it.
he left Wolves in like I don't like the mutual sacking or whatever. He left Wolves when he went to Spurs. I was like, really?
Yeah, but
That
again,
was a good fit.
yeah, there was chatter about him getting
I don't
those
know,
better
man.
jobs for some time. It just hadn't materialized. So yeah, I think that's what Spurs have needed for some time. I'll be honest. I'm happy that they've done what they've done as an Arsenal fan, but I do think if they're taking a more, they tried to do it with Nuno. They did try. It didn't work out,
Yeah.
but clearly that formula is not the same. And I've got a good friend of mine I used to work with. He's a Spurs fan. If you listen to him speak, for him, it's the hierarchy. The hierarchy is the hierarchy. They would rather have
He's right.
a fantastic stadium that can host NFL games, etc., rather than making the right investments in the football inside of the team. So as far as he's concerned, he reckons even if they got a great manager in, they'll get lucky, the average will go up, but it's not until there's kind of root and branch there that they will be a team over 10 or 15 years that consistently actually winning things.
Daniel Levy's not changing
Bruv, he's not
anytime
going
soon,
anywhere.
bro. He's not
But
going nowhere.
So interesting though what you said when they asked the question about do managers get scouted by clubs. The two clubs you mentioned straight away were Southampton and Brighton. And what do we know about their player recruitment?
Exactly.
Probably two of the best at player recruitment as well. So it's probably no coincidence that they got the best players from these kind of places, and then now they get the best managers as
And
well.
you watch Southampton, and as a team, they haven't done well. They got a few players there. If they go down, I think some Prem teams are gonna come
100%.
calling.
Knocking, yeah.
They've got 2 or 3 tidy. I mean, Ward-Prowse has got to leave surely. His loyalty can't stretch to the Championship.
No.
He's got to leave
That
surely.
Lavia guy is that
Yeah,
yeah,
He's
from Man City.
serious
He's
baller.
He's decent.
And the
Yeah.
thing, and Brighton the same. How many clubs are going to be coming after Brighton's players in the summer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah,
Brighton have
yeah.
become the new Leicester,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Talk about McAllister.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
money in it.
Casado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about
Mitoma.
Ferguson being
Oh, Ferguson looks a real
Being-
good player.
looked at by United. So
I think the manager to watch out for in Europe, though, just a little snippet, is the Sporting Lisbon manager.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
he looks like he's got some.
I swear down, I was gonna say that.
is there a reason you Arsenal fans are saying that, or is it just
No,
No, I've seen him. I've seen him a few times. He looks like he's
What's that
the
about?
next one off
What's
the
that
block.
about?
I know he's
What's
trying
that
to. I know
about?
he's
What's
trying
that
to get there.
about?
Listen, I know you're the
What's
worst
that
player, but don't do that, bro. I'll rush you. I'll
I
rush you.
just
then.
asking?
I'll rush you. then.
Close
Yeah,
hand
no,
experience and
I
all
think
that, you know?
I think they beat Tottenham early on in the season. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Anyway,
You tried it, man. You
Yeah.
thought I was
Anyway.
You thought I was getting unnoticed as well.
Just asking a question.
I mean, Bournemouth, again, I was going to say climbing up, but they're not. They're collecting points, but they're just kind of staying in the same place. But they're just inching
Taking
away
over.
safe to the right
Doing
time,
alright.
right? Last 5 games, 3 wins. That's
not bad.
that's not relegation form. It's a shame they couldn't do it for longer. 2 losses and 3 wins, and that's the way you want it because draws are like death by 1,000 cuts.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, you'd rather take
Especially this
those kind of irregular 3 points and have a couple of losses. I mean, losses aren't good for the psyche and for momentum, but that's the correct way. You look at other teams around them. Everton, last 5 games, 3 draws, 1 loss, 1 win. They would again they could have done with 2 wins and 3 losses. It's just you get the same points, but it's a very different picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see what's happening there. Well done to the caretaker manager gone perm. It's doing okay. Is he perm or just perm to the end of the season?
Who talk
At
about?
Bournemouth.
O'Neill.
No, I think it's permanent. Yeah, he was temporary at first, and now he's gone permanent. Yeah, they gave him the
Because they
job.
always say that doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't always
I need to
work.
check the stats, but the folklore is you get a guy, a caretaker, does well, you make him perm, and then it all just starts to.
Yeah,
So I'm good to see.
He's doing well.
he's done really well.
I think he'll stay even if they go down. He'll
Yeah,
probably
I
stay
agree.
on it.
I agree. And that Billing, he's a
Good player.
I think he's a good player, but the player you speak to, some people think he's overrated. Some people think he's underrated. I think he's underrated. I think he's good. I'm not saying he should go and play for Man City or Arsenal or something, but I do
To
think
stand out in that team is
yeah,
quite
I
an
think he
achievement.
should be playing for a team that's pushing mid-table, trying to get into Europe. I think he's of that level. He's a good player. And he's shown it over time.
And yeah, definitely we should shout out Gary O'Neill, definitely, because if you remember Scott Parker with the same squad, he didn't want the job. He basically was calling them out and was basically like, they're not good enough. And then Gary O'Neill's picked it up and look where they are. So yeah, big props to him for that.
And I'm gonna call people out over the time we do this podcast here, but I'm gonna do what I hate people. His demeanor just used to come across very, I don't know how to explain it. Like, not that this is beneath me, but he just seemed
Arrogant.
yeah, he seemed a little bit big time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of here for now. I'm Scott Parker. I'm gonna do this job, and then he didn't say all of this, but that's just the aura I got from him when he would say stuff. And even when he was doing the punditry, he's delivering that. I'm just like, bro, if you don't need to be here, don't be here.
Yeah.
If you don't need the money or you don't want to do it. And I've not seen him on the TV since, I'll be honest. I
Did
don't
he
know
go
what-
to Europe
got
and
a
got
job.
sacked?
He had a job.
He went to Europe and got
Club
sacked.
Brugge
Oh,
got
yeah,
sacked.
he got sacked.
Got sacked after like
twice this season. They got knocked out the Champions League.
how long was he there?
No.
Like 2 months or something.
Nah,
He
he
got
got
sacked. Yeah.
That's
That's
like 2
mad,
seconds
you know.
in a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
mad.
2 seconds in the season, and you've gone to a league that is not of the same standard as the one you just left, and you couldn't make it through to the end of the season there. He's got to do a championship job again, I think.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask one question? Something that's come up as well that I heard the other day. What do you guys think about having a manager window? As in, if you sign a permanent manager, so they have to be in the job for a year, or you can only sack managers during the January or whatever. It's a manager window. Yeah, you can't
Nah.
just
Can't
sack
tell me when I
winning.
can sack a manager that's just ruining my club.
But you've hired him.
Yeah, but then it just hasn't worked out.
I think,
But you can't sell a player.
I don't think it was a manager window. I
but you
think it
can't
was-
fire a player either.
I think
That's
what they said
we're
was
firing.
when the manager comes in, he has to stay in for at least 6 months.
Or a year.
Before you can
Yeah.
get
So I
rid
don't
of
agree with
Yeah.
manager window, but I was toying. I was thinking, along the same lines, I was thinking, is there need to be like a 10-game minimum, or there's got to be something that. But then again, how do you enforce that?
If it doesn't work, it doesn't
Yeah,
work, man.
to your point,
At
you
any
can't
level,
sell- you can't sell
retail,
players.
management,
Yeah,
if it's not working,
to
get
your
rid.
point, you can't sell players. But if you wanted to fire a player, you can fire a player anytime you want.
yeah, but you got to pay them,
Yeah,
these managers
Yeah,
out as well.
yeah,
so
yeah,
if
yeah.
you get it wrong, it's not like you
Yeah.
just let someone go and it's over with, innit?
Yeah.
You gotta, you're paying for it as well. So
I do think there is something between what we've got today and saying there's a window or there's a minimum games. I don't know what it is. I think there needs to be some criteria, some performance criteria. Like if your team, I don't know, if your team is letting in 10 goals a game. I mean, some of Pat's stats, unfortunately, were. I know, I'm being extreme.
Couple of Tories.
Yeah, exactly. some of Pat's stats weren't great. So in a corporate setting, you put them on the table. You've not won a game this year. You've not had a shot. There was one point they didn't have a shot on target for X amount of games. Your defense is like when you put it quantitatively like that. Sorry,
Yeah.
mate, you gotta go. You know, and I think maybe some of those can be used as a guideline. I don't think employment law would even let you do some of this stuff, but even used as a guideline, maybe the LMA kind of say, look, before managers up for sacking, these are some of the.
but what if it's like a Tuchel Todd Bowley thing?
But
Whereas
I think
they didn't see eye to eye on certain things, and this is my club.
But I think that's
if you
what,
don't
but that's what I think
see
it
what
protects.
I'm trying to do,
But I think that's
or
what
you
it
don't want to go
protects.
along with it, you got to go in it. I'll bring someone in that does want to go along with it.
Well, that's a good point actually, because the numbers would back to show. Bro, you're just mashing up Brent Student. Yeah, you're definitely the clip. Yo, Brent, all invoices straight to Mark, you know. But
that thing's been wanting to drop for time.
but that's where the statistics could be good, because you could argue the performance hasn't got better since Tuchel left. As a whole, that looks like now, statistically, that's the wrong decision. So whatever personal beefs or whatever you've got, and yes, it's your club, actually, if you had those guidelines in place, you keep it like, well, you can still fire him, but the numbers don't back you. And that has now played out.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So actually, it's those situations you want that kind of thing would be useful, because you take all the egos and all the emotion out of it and you say, look, mate, this guy's won 3 trophies in 18 months. This is his average, you know the ones? His last 10 games, whatever, window you want to pick, you still want to fire him because he bumped into you in the corridor. Or you don't like the way he's taking training or whatever.
Look at when that manager left Leicester and they brought in
Ranieri? When Ranieri left?
No, not when Ranieri left. Before that, I swear that guy kept Leicester up.
Wasn't that post Ranieri when the caretaker manager came in?
No, before Ranieri, when Leicester was they was in a relegation battle or something.
Oh, you're talking Nigel Pearson?
Yes. And then the fans loved him, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
But he had something dodgy with his
I don't know about that, but
apparently
they brought in.
I think it was his son or something. His son.
I don't know, on the line.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
His son done something away on holiday that probably we don't want to discuss on the
No
pod.
coincidence.
Yeah.
So you remember that? When you players and it was on video.
In
I'll tell you about that. Yeah. And they were taking...
an Asian country.
What? No, because they owned it. Hey, I'm pretty sure they went to Thailand.
It was.
So they went to Thailand and they were
We didn't want to mention the
No, but
They started madness on the tour.
We have said
it was
too
the
much.
Probably.
It was on BBC, bro.
Moving on
Swiftly.
swiftly.
It was on BBC. And they were basically making fun of people from Thailand in ways that you can imagine.
Yeah.
And as always with these lot, someone recorded it. They thought it's amongst friends, but it hit the net.
Where were the owners from?
Everyone do 2 + 2.
Yeah.
The 4 will get you where you need to get.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I forgot the owners were from there.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, they done. They got rid of him quick.
So it wasn't officially said, but a few people feel like his decision became untenable after that. But I take your point. But I do think there needs to be, and they might already have it and we don't know, right? But I do think there needs to be some kind of very objective kind of set of boxes you go through. Because I think football hides behind that grey thing of, it's sport. Some things are subjective. It's down to individual opinions, how people see it. It is, but we love to use things like XG and stuff when it suits us. So I do think there's probably some kind of baseline that could be used to say, right, okay, guys, we don't think things are going well, but let's take a step back and work it through this. And at the end, if you do that, I don't think a Tuchel gets sacked, or you sack him knowing that statistically you're sacking someone who's very, very good, and the chances of getting someone to come in and do the same or better are pretty slim based on this, right? And time is now, where are we now? April. They're on their 3rd manager of the season. And none of the stats are backing that decision. 0. None of them.
But I would be for every manager has 1 year before they're eligible for sacking.
A year's a long time in football, you know?
I'll say 1 year.
Negative.
1 year.
That's a whole season, you know?
If you're a new manager, I'll say 1 year.
No, that's
and then
bro.
before
That's
you
Okay,
go
so who insures my losses if I get relegated? Who does that other side of it?
No, it's your decision. So that's when you need to think about your decision in the first place.
That's
You
wild.
need to think.
That's
you
wild.
need to
The
think it
worst
through.
model
Yeah,
to
but
run.
you might just
make
A year,
bro.
Let's finish. Go on.
No, I would be for 1 year. Then you have to really think about, okay, this guy's going to be with me for 1 year. I've got to make sure he's right.
No, but how you can't make sure he's right, though.
Yeah.
All right, let me pose this to you a different way.
It might not work.
Let me pose
That's
this to
in
you
a
a different
year,
way.
blood.
So that's to point it back to you. Yeah? It's your club. It's your 50 million that you've put into the club.
Yeah.
You've now employed Keith. Yeah? And no matter what Keith
I would
does.
do that, man.
And no matter.
For the record, I'm a trophy-winning manager.
We are just really managers, yeah?
True, yeah.
However,
you're actually.
you employ him, and no matter what happens, the guidelines you signed up to, Premier League, you cannot fire him for a year. This is your money on the line.
Yeah.
You're cool with that. You'll be cool with that.
But the thing is, you're in the same position as everyone else. The next owner is in the same position. It's a level playing field because everyone's got the same
but not everyone's got the same manager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm asking you, because I think when you frame it like that to people, it's different. So it's your money on the line. It's your money. You are Simon Jordan. So we're not talking Man United PLC. You're the Glazers. No, we're talking you're a benefactor. You've bought a club. You're a Simon Jordan type character, right? And if the club goes down, not only will you will feel it. People's jobs are lost, etc. You'll be happy with that.
At the end of the day, whose decision was it to hire him? It was mine in the first place. So I've got control of that.
Your answer is yes. You'd be happy
It's
for your
my
investment.
mistake.
Interesting.
A bold
It's
mistake.
my mistake. At the end of the day, it's my mistake.
That little
And as
smirk
you
on your
just said,
face. tells me you're not serious, bro.
Even if I didn't sack the manager,
Mhm.
as you just said, with the stats and that, the team's not got better. The team get worse.
A year's too long, bro. Like even the players, they get to go in January, the summer, a year, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's too much,
agree
bro.
that we need to have some kind of measuring stick. But I think a year is a long
It's a
time.
long
I
time,
don't think
man.
the club should have 3-4 different managers in a
Yeah,
season.
maybe
No, I
not,
agree.
but a
That's
year's a
true.
long
That's
time for
extreme,
anyone
but-
to be stuck in a job, bro. It's too long.
Yeah, it's
A
true.
year's
That's-
too long, bro.
I mean, you can't play for more than 2 clubs in one season.
Yeah.
That's mad.
So
So maybe it should be that then.
Maybe you shouldn't be able to manage more than 2 clubs or have more than 2 managers in a
Yeah,
season.
there you go. That's
So maybe you
Yeah,
can
that's slightly
maybe you can make
different.
one
That's
change.
better
Maybe you
than
can
you-
make one change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
and you can't make another change unless you're in danger of relegation.
or if you do make a change, if you do fire a manager,
like
you have to move up someone in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Club
okay.
already.
You can't bring someone in from
You can't.
outside.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
a
how
good thing.
Palace promoted Wyman, he has to stay to the end of the season. With that, so
Yeah.
what, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. Maybe you
So
can
what's
bring one manager
I was
out.
going more like, in the NBA, if you break the wage cap, you can break it, but every dollar you go over costs you X amount. So it's not- you can have a third manager, but that's going to cost you 3 points.
financial or
Yeah, they're not going to do points.
Yeah.
Points is the holy grail. But, okay. Don't worry, listen. Football
Yeah,
Association, we're going to
there's a lot
solve
of
this for
discussion.
you. Premier League.
Not a year though. That's wild, bro.
Let us set the circle boys on it. We'll give you a white paper in 3 months. We got this. We got this. All right, let's switch through the rest. Villa, Forrest. I mean, Emery's on a bit of a redemption arc. Well, I mean, he
Great
finished
manager.
5th. There's no redemption arc. The guy finished 5th.
Yeah.
You're not a joke, man. But Villa keep going on. My list of apologies might be growing. I might have to say sorry to Mr. Watkins as well. Stop scoring, mate. Yeah, stop doing that, please. But yeah, another win for Villa. They march on. I mean, where are they sitting now?
6.
Villa are 6 points
They
behind
were below.
Spurs.
They were below Chelsea
Yeah,
a couple months ago.
4 wins in the last 5. Now that's serious form. That form is only bettered by Newcastle and City. That's crazy.
I think they meet on Saturday, so that's a really big game.
Yeah.
Villa Newcastle.
That is going to be serious. All right, cool. March on. They march on. Who we got next? Brentford, Newcastle. I wasn't sure how to call this one, you know.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't sure how to call this one, but that's a good away win from Newcastle. Brentford is strong at home.
Yeah.
Um,
Tony missing his first penalty in 5 years as well.
yeah,
I
I-
thought
Crazy.
Brentford was going to do it.
yeah. So,
Yeah, especially when they went 1-0 up after
Yeah.
like he got the redemption of the penalty.
I mean, I'm just happy I took Tony out my team. You know, missed penalties cost you.
Cost your points, don't
I
they?
think that's their second loss this season, their second home loss this season.
Yeah, they've been really,
Mm.
really.
Yeah,
strong
they've been
at home.
good.
I
Big
mean,
up
they've
Frank.
lost 7, but it's generally away, and the manager called it out. He said when they go away to big teams, sometimes they struggle. So he changes the style of play. Sometimes he goes a bit more direct, a bit more defensive. But again, if you
I think
about
he's a
Newcastle-
really good manager as
Yeah.
well. He's one to watch.
Yeah.
Really good manager,
Yeah.
Thomas Frank.
We've talked about it a couple of times. I think he's a kind of, we talked about this already. Bide your time, innit? Pick the right move, because I would love to, he probably wouldn't say it publicly, but I would love to know what Graham Potter thinks about, okay, if I rewind back pre-Chelsea, obviously when you're at Brighton, you don't say no to Chelsea when they come calling. But if he could have designed it the way he wanted, would he have chosen that route to Chelsea, or would he have gone to, again, no disrespect, but a Spurs or an Everton or whatever? Because I know where Everton are now, but in terms of club, they're bigger
Yeah,
than
Yeah,
Brighton,
club
right?
stature.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what he.
And like Mark said, Newcastle are kind of picked up form. They had a little of a slump a couple months ago,
Mm.
but they seem to be picking up
It's
form
like
at the right time.
Wilson. Is it Wilson?
Yeah.
They complement each other
They're
quite well.
working
you know?
well.
Yeah,
aren't
they
they?
do, man. And it's rare. He's not normally played 2 strikers at the same time.
No.
So he kind of tweaked that as well. There's either Wilson.
Well, but Wilson
It's
came on
like
as a sub, right? So he came on as a sub, was 1-1, and he's chasing the game. He brought him on. Him and Gordon brought them on. He wanted to impact them, which is the 2 attacking subs. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wilson's not going to score enough goals to get an apology out of me, so I'm not worried about it.
Do you think Hull's on a massive bonus if they get to the Champions League?
Yeah.
He must be.
Because I think they were ahead of schedule. Like I didn't think it would be this quick.
Listen,
I'm probably going to buy my island or something.
I think he's gonna get.
Please. Buy my island.
If he gets Champions League, that checkbook's going to widen, boy.
Bruv,
You think they'll
if he
spend money
gets
there instead of spend
If he
nothing?
gets Champions League, he's going to do the Brendan Rodgers, bro. He's going to come back. New teeth,
Bruv.
everything, bruv.
Imagine the incentives that's coming from them guys.
Yeah, the whole players. Yeah, like the whole
Players,
squad
like,
must
what
be on
you're
the
getting.
Mazza.
What you will get end of the season if you reach Champions League.
And
Like,
even,
all of them a Lambo or something stupid. Like they're sick.
do you
like,
remember when
they're
Leicester
mad.
won the league? And they got
Yeah.
all bought I8s.
Yeah.
Bought
they
them all
got whips,
I8s.
innit?
Come on. And again, you think about prize money, there's all the other stuff around it. We've bought this club, the club are doing well. We can't underestimate that side of things. And even you as a player, right? People talk about Jacob Murphy and all that. Even him as a player, if they get to Champions League, whatever his next move is different.
Yeah, it's on the
It's
resume,
different,
innit?
different than
Yeah.
if they'd finished 11th or 12th. So I think it's great. A few eyebrows were raised when Howe went there. Everyone thought they were going to go gung-ho. But it made sense to me. Again, strategy, you take a step, you move it forward bit by bit. And he's playing with largely the same players.
Mm.
Convert
manager.
Joe Linton, Callum Wilson.
Yeah, that Joe
Glad
Linton
to see
switch
him
was
do
very
well.
good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
That's what you want. Like we spoke about managers earning their bread in it,
Mhm.
discovering
Yeah.
someone's new position.
Exactly.
Because
That was,
Bruce tried that striker thing for how
But
long, and everyone was like, "This guy is
hold
not
on,
a
but
good
did they
player."
buy him as a striker though?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
40
striker.
million.
It was a
They bought him as
striker, yeah.
He was good.
And that deal-
Where he come from?
I think it was Rafa that brought him as well. I don't think it was Bruce.
I'm not going to
I think it was
lie.
Rafa.
I don't want to get a lawsuit for libel or anything, but that deal, they paid mad money for him, didn't they?
40 million.
45,
40
50 million.
plus million, yeah.
But his goal record did not scream 45 million. That looked a bit,
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, that tweak seems to work out.
That's
And
the
obviously
perfect
they got Bruno, which kind of 30 million for him is just
It's
like
a steal. That's a
it's
steal.
just
things like that annoy me.
Ridiculous
'cause
quality.
we could have, I would take Bruno Arsenal.
Apparently, he was in the running for him as well. I don't even know how he ended up.
Isak is a great signing for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
well,
well, he was like 60, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they
Yeah.
spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
They bought basically a whole new back four and a goalie.
Yeah, Shaw
So
and Botman have done really well.
Shaw was there before, no?
Shaw was there.
Yeah, Shaw was there, but I
Yeah.
think
But-
Botman coming
but
in.
again,
yeah.
The
Botman-
two fullbacks.
Botman wasn't a
doing
lot of money, apparently. He wasn't a lot of money.
No, he won.
He came. Where did he come from? Dutch team.
Dutch league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
20
mean, don't get me
mils.
wrong. He's talked about a lot. Everyone, if you play Football Manager,
Mm.
or you were, Botman was meant to be one of the next crop of great players. So a few people were surprised that it was Newcastle went to. They thought he was
Yeah.
going to make the step to a team who was playing in Europe, etc. Obviously, Trippier wasn't a free. I think it was on a free.
No, they
they
bought him.
bought
He
him.
was the first. He was the first signing.
Yeah, and he wanted to come home, so
Yeah.
I think they leveraged that.
And
Well,
Dan Burn.
Everyone was laughing
Yeah,
at him.
Dan
Yeah,
Burn.
Yeah,
but
Dan
I think
Dan
the
Burn
most,
at left back is
the most,
weird.
the most impressive bit has been what the players that were previously there,
Exactly.
their improvement,
Yeah,
how he's
yeah,
got
I
them
fully
to.
agree. I fully agree.
Williams
Long,
Yeah.
Longstaff, the guy. in
Yeah,
midfield.
Longstaff,
Yeah,
Jolie,
about
and
that.
Almiron. Look at Almiron. He was the butt of jokes a year ago, but look
Mate,
at him now.
He's called off now, though.
He's injured.
Well,
isn't
I
he?
think his goals have pulled off, but his contribution is still being more effective. Even St. Maximan, it looked like he was being harsh, but I think it was tough love.
Mm.
I think he's been more effective when he's played recently.
Willock as well.
Willock,
now,
yeah.
well.
Willock.
Mm.
Willock is
doing well
probably,
Mm.
he's the player that Arsenal probably thought he was going to be, right? He's
Yeah.
probably what he
Yeah.
should have. Youth team is doing that now, which is fantastic for him. If he carries on like this, is he another person we're going to be talking about saying, Gareth, what are you saying? And again, whenever I
I
talk
don't know.
about England, I'm not saying he should play. I'm just saying
In the
make the squad.
I think he's good enough to get in there.
Yeah. If you're playing every week in a team that has pushed all the top teams that you're going to finish third, you can't tell me the guy can't get in the England squad.
Yeah, he's done well.
Otherwise, I don't know what the criteria is.
He's done enough to warrant it. But
Yeah,
he's
I'm not
done
saying he
enough
should
to-
start or displace
Yeah,
anybody, but when we have other players like Mr. Phillips who don't play, and I get into, I know you have
Yeah.
people that you trust, but if he's not careful, he's gonna, and I'm going off a bit of tangent here, but he's gonna dig himself a little hole where he's got this span of people that he backs, but if you're not playing, then no one can tell me it doesn't have a detriment on your performance level. Like, you can't just turn up at England camps to perform at the same level, and you're playing 56, 45 minutes in between, every
Harry
few months.
Maguire was doing that though.
Well, yeah, but Harry Maguire, when he plays for England, it's not that he plays amazing. He just plays better than he does for Man U. That's not great. It doesn't like it's like in terms of England, he's a world-class defender.
He played alright on the weekend.
He just plays okay. To be honest, when he plays for England, he plays how he should play. As an 8 million defender.
As a professional baller.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Who have we got next? Then we've got Fulham, West Ham. Listen, I know Fulham are missing Mitrović, etc., but that West Ham had to win that game. I think.
Yeah, Moyes was next.
Man, they were winning that game by hook or by crook.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. Where was it at Fulham or?
It was away.
It was at Fulham.
It was away.
That's a good win for them.
No, but I think Fulham are on the beach already. I think their season's over. They're not going to go down. They're not going up. They're not going Europe.
Yeah,
so
there's always that one team.
Yeah, I think that
they were hoping for a good run in the FA Cup and then that.
So their season's over.
And
so
also, I think I don't want to call them one-dimensional, but Mitrović is very, very key to how they play, right? So you take that piece out, they might not be on the beach, but they just haven't been able to play another way without him, right? I think you might see a slight when he's back. I think we might see a little upturn in there.
I don't think he's back. Is he
back?
back for the last game of the season? I think that's it.
Because he's already served the game. So
he served two now, so he's got 6 left.
Yeah, so he's only got back for I think
last 2 games.
He'll have a couple.
Huh? You play 4 games, no?
Last 2, innit?
No, I think they played like 29.
They'll play the last 2.
They'll have no more than 8 left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've got last 2.
They played 29 games.
Yeah. So they got 9 left.
Yeah, they got 9 left.
Yeah, back for
Okay, so
So and 9 points at the end of their season could be interesting. Hold on, let me just set it up playing Arsenal. Boy.
I think we played them twice.
twice.
Home and away.
All right, cool. Man United, Fulham, last game of the season. He'll love that at Trafford. Mitrović.
Revenge.
Another 8 games especially
Revenge.
coming for next season.
No, he's fired up. If he plays their last 3 games, it's Southampton, Fulham. For Fulham away to Southampton. Fulham at home to Palace.
Then relegation.
And Fulham away to Man United. So basically, Mitrović is going to come back and ruin 1 or 2 clubs' season. Basically,
Southampton.
To be fair, he hasn't, this second half of the season, I mean, he's got like 1 or 2 goals, to be fair. He's really cooled off.
True.
But he scored more than what I thought he would, though.
Yeah, and he's the focal point. When you actually watch them, even if he doesn't score, he's
his hold up is amazing.
Yeah, and his movement is much better than it was before. When he came, he literally played in like that middle lane of the pitch. That was it.
Yeah.
If you don't get the ball crossed in, we're going to move him.
I didn't realise how young he was as well. Like, because he was in the Prem so early with Newcastle, I thought he was older than what he was, but he's only like 25, 26.
He looks older.
Is that it?
There's no way he's 26. What, currently?
Yeah, he looks old.
He looks like he's on the later
But
side.
he was at Newcastle like pretty young.
They need to get him some olive oil, man.
Oh my days.
Just say. Yo, Alexander, I don't want it still. Love it. Then obviously, Man City went and battered Southampton 4-1. What
standard.
Didn't need.
That sloppy first goal, man. Just opened the floodgates, man.
You know what? They played really well until they conceded that goal. And the goal came at the wrong time. Like, you never want to concede just before half time. They were doing everything right, innit? Like, frustrate. It was a bit like the Forrest game when Man City went there, like, frustrating them, having the chances.
And then the blitz.
But then, conceded.
Just the blitz.
It was just bad. And that was
just like you go minute by minute when you're watching it. Bro.
Yeah,
minute by minute.
Yeah,
every tackle, you're like, yes, keep going.
It's the hope that kills.
Literally.
As soon as I scored the
Keith
first
says that
goal,
all the time.
I switched it off.
Yeah.
As soon as he headed the ball, I was like, okay,
I'm not interested
this
after
game's
that.
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Second half, they just turned the screw and it was just like...
And we always with City, we're not even talking about the near misses, the ones that, you know, he's flashed past the post. Just long, bro. Morris, bro. That guy.
All of them, bruv, like...
Really just turned up.
I think since the World Cup, he scored 5 and assisted 13 or something like that since the World Cup. It's crazy.
I don't know why anyone ever doubted him. Grealish is a baller, man. Baller.
Took his time.
It's taken a while. Yeah.
I think it's a price tag as well.
Yeah, man.
Like,
No, you know what it is? Being honest about it, you know what it is as well? I found that people talked about him like he was some young player. The guy's he's a year younger than Raheem or something. He's not a young player. So he's good. I just never saw the hype. That makes sense? Like people talked about like he was the next thing.
Grealish is older than Mitrović.
Yeah, they'll be around the
If
same
key
age,
stats correct about Mitrović's age, then he's not a young player. Grealish is not a young player.
And like John and I said this in like conversations, we always thought, did Grealish elevate what City already have? And I don't personally think he has, but now he seems to have trying to join the levels of what's already there. Like especially since the World Cup.
What I will concede though, I think we'll have to remember in football as well, it's people, right? So if I'm Pep, how long is Raheem going to consistently do this for all this time? That's why Pep does not... I don't think he actually has many favourites, right? Rodri plays every game because he has to, but he does not mess around to rotate you around. Starts. As soon as you're touching a certain level, you're playing.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva's, he had a season how he played and he was amazing for a year and then sat him down. So I think the way it would seem Pep looks at it is fine. He might not do more, but he's at this point now. He can come in and do that for 3 years. This guy's been doing it for a period of time. He might wane off. He gives me something slightly different, etc. And I think that's how he just moves the pieces around. And he's done it over the years, just keeps doing it.
He does it with everyone. I remember one point he wasn't even playing Morris. Morris
exactly.
I was like, what's going on?
Exactly. Well, look at Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake couldn't get in the team.
Yeah.
Now he starts every week. So yeah.
And even like Cancelo. Cancelo was one of the best fullbacks in the league. And then
but
just him.
In football, it's well known, if Cancelo's not playing, it's peak for everybody. He does not take it well. That's why he left Juve. Apparently, again, one of those things, hindsight, everyone talks about it now, but it's well known in the football world. If he's not playing, it's long.
Right.
He has to be, otherwise he's an absolute nightmare. He will be like, why am I not playing? I'm better than that guy. So even though he already had words with Nagelsmann.
Yeah, he did.
And he hadn't been there long. Yeah, he already had words with well, what do you mean I'm not playing?
Yeah.
So, and then he had to address it in a press conference.
And apparently they're not taking up the option to buy him. I think that might have been under Nagelsmann, so it might change under Tuchel, but
Was you not surprised? I was a little bit surprised with Pep's comments about Kyle Walker. To say that publicly, I was very surprised.
Don't ask me about Kyle Walker, bro.
I don't really. I know he can't do that role, and I don't really think he's the great. I think he's a little bit overrated. But to actually come out in the press conference and say that, I was like, ooh.
Have you watched it though, or did you read it?
I just saw quotes.
Yeah, so I read the quotes and thought, raw. Then I remember two things. One is Pep. And two, when I saw it, he wasn't saying it in a mad way like, oh, he's rubbish or...
He's just saying that role.
He's just saying, look,
do that role.
The way I'm playing today, that role that player now needs to play, Kyle can't do that. He can do inverted fullback. We've done it many times. He can do it. It's great. And he's been a great player for us. And then the journalist tried to do a little... so he's like,
try
so
and
what
get
is it? A speed thing? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, if Carl is 64, he's still the fastest man in this room, right? But it's not just about speed. He just, as a player, he hasn't got what he needs to do that role, which is fair. And I think for foreign coaches, that level of transparency is normal, right? But when, I think in the UK, because everyone wants to be pragmatic and this and that until they retire and get on TV and they talk rubbish.
Taboo,
Yeah. So whenever a foreign coach come in and just says stuff, we're like, oh my God, but...
Yeah, and I'm sure he would have had the conversation with Walker as well. Like, he's not like, that's the first time he's heard it.
Exactly.
It's not like he's at home going, oh. Kind of thing.
Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I was disinterested by that. I was probably doing the dishes or something at that point of the game, but I'm pretty sure he switched to back four when Walker came. I said, Carl. When Walker came on, I'm pretty sure he switched. So they would have said it. They would have tried it in training, I'm sure. And he'd be like, look, when we play this way, you're cool, but whilst we're playing this way, you're going to have to come on and support the team. And right now, we're chasing for a title. This is the way we're going to deal with certain things. And my uneducated, non-coaching bad self, I reckon the switch and the change, he's just sharpening it because he feels that's the best way to combat the way we play. So when we meet up, obviously it's to win games, etc.
He wasn't ready and formulated.
Yeah, I think he's sharpening a way that then, because Arteta helped him formulate some of this stuff. He's helped Arteta grow. That is definitely a meeting of the minds, and then the meeting of the tools that they've both got at their disposal in terms of the players, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I do think that actually it's a sharpening, and then that way, he's gonna turn up and play.
It might even be for Bayern.
Back four.
It might be for Bayern. So like that's a big game coming up. So.
But it makes sense, right? And you've got those two there. When Zinchenko comes in and so it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, someone please just draw with them, please. Roy Watch, Palace 5, Leeds 1.
On job.
I saw someone on the internet. I don't know where I found it, but there's a Jordan Ayew apology form, which I think someone here needs to fill out.
Genuinely thought you made it yourself.
Can you do that this week?
Ready this week?
Blood as well. Yeah.
There will be no apology for a striker who has 1 goal in 10 game average. Erling Haaland has more goals than him.
You're not comparing him
You
to
can't,
Haaland.
yeah, you can't.
Wait,
come
wait,
on,
wait,
listen,
wait,
hold
wait.
on.
You want to hear this stat? Listen to this.
Erling Haaland. No, he hasn't beaten him yet. So Haaland's on 30 goals.
Yeah.
Ayew has scored 32 Premiership goals in his whole career. That's not apology work.
30,
You can't compare him to Haaland.
32
You can't compare him to
important,
Haaland.
man.
I think this might be like the third point
32
in a row I've
important.
spoken about Ayew. I don't have nothing personal against Ayew.
do.
I'm just comparing him to his peers. And amongst his peers, he's not good enough.
Listen,
Simple
Mr.
as.
Ayew, if you
Now
butt
we can't.
Keat on road.
Now we can't get him on the pod.
Yeah,
Thanks.
exactly. Thanks, Keat, man.
Oh,
No, we can
sorry.
get him on so he can sit face to face awkwardly with you.
Why would it be
I
awkward?
I think you
Because
need
I
to
can
do your
say-
own segment.
Yeah.
Because I can say, are you happy with your Premiership career? And you'd be like,
Wow.
Ouch. Did you actually ask that, bro?
He's a regular
Did you actually
Premiership.
ask that?
Yeah, he's a regular player.
but is he not paid to score goals?
And Haaland
Yeah,
isn't his
yeah.
peers. His peeps are like his peers are Edward and
It's true.
No, your peers,
Mateta.
no, your peers
And
are the
Dinky
people
Welbeck.
that you
Yeah.
play with.
Hold on, sorry guys, one second. I just want to be very, very specific with the wording of this question here. We're going to ask him, is he happy with his career or his Premiership career?
His Premiership career.
Okay, I'm helping you out here.
Yeah.
My
No,
brethren,
I
innit?
said Premiership.
Alright,
I did say Premiership
I'm
career.
not sure.
I
First
selected my
Premiership.
words very
Firstly,
wisely.
you're mad. Secondly, let's put this into context, please. The guy has played in the Prem for the majority of his career that we've known him, yeah? That in itself is achievement.
No, he only came in, 2016?
That's a long time, no?
Okay, so he's done
6 years.
6 years in the Prem?
That's a long
Well,
time.
7 years this year in the
Scored
Prem.
32 goals.
No, obviously, when you're comparing him to other people, fine, but sometimes as fans, we just gotta, let's just think about it in terms of him personally. Fine,
Yeah, like I say, it's not a personal dig. I'm just saying, as a Premiership striker,
yeah,
you'd expect your striker who plays regularly, he's hitting 30 odd appearances for the majority of his seasons.
But he's not a striker in the box.
Get out of
A
it.
lot of the time
He's
he's
not.
on the wing doing doggies and that.
Nah.
Remember, you have Roy
Nah,
Hodgson as the
no,
manager
no,
and stuff
that's
like that.
that's none of my business. Though I'm not gonna lie.
No.
But what my challenge to you is though, what is the average Premier? Like, so we like to talk about the the Henrys. The people have smashed it up, but if we take the average Premiership striking rate, and I'm sure we can
He's hit
find
double
it.
figures once.
Wait, man. If we take the average striking rate of Premiership strikers ever, if he's below that, fair. If he's above it, then you can't really say, because you can't be comparing him. How many people have even hit double figures in the Premier? It won't be as many as you think. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, granted.
It won't be as many as you think. Trust me.
But
And a lot of those guys, and if we said how many hit double figures in the Prem more than once, that number would probably
it would,
not even half.
it would,
probably
it
just
would
a third.
diminish. Like,
Yeah.
I am being a bit facetious about the whole thing.
Yeah, we know.
But I still don't think he's someone.
No,
to
I
lead in
agree.
that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think if you want to progress in this league, sorry, brother Ayew,
Yeah.
but you're not the one still.
I think he does a job, personally. I think he does a job.
There's a reason they play him.
Yeah, he does. He
Because
does.
there's no one else.
He does.
Nah,
He does what he says.
he's been playing.
I'm
He's been
ramping.
playing.
I'm ramping. No, no.
Business end of the season, mate.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, but big up Roy. Like, he's doing all right, man. Like, 2 wins in 2. It's a
Wait.
shame.
Listen. Do we have to go back? So we had a lot of support and chat for Pat V. Obviously, we ridiculed the decision to bring in Roy. Right?
Yeah, massively.
2 Prem games, 6 points,
7 goals.
7 goals. I mean,
I don't know what
they haven't scored more than 2 goals in a Prem game since August.
And I think who did they beat? Was it Leicester? They beat. They won in the first game.
Yep.
They
Leicester.
had 20 shots in the first half of that game.
But
No,
wait-
do you know how shocked I was?
If it was up to Daz, they would be still with Vieira.
No, but was you not saying?
Yeah, but
Was you not saying though that if Patrick Vieira was still there,
Winning
based
that-
on how winnable the other games are, he'd be doing the same thing. So
No,
Well, no, we thought he would have, yeah, but there's no gap. Obviously, there's no
exactly.
guarantee.
So
Alright,
we can't
so-
really be
Yeah,
giving.
but
But
I
again-
big up Roy, man.
let me bring it back again, right? So one thing that I listened back to our conversation. One thing we didn't bring into it was we kind of made out like it was slightly emotive from the owners, right? But again, we don't know. They might have looked at the data, right? So it's all well and good and easy for us to say, you know what, the games after would have been easier. How would have done X, Y, and Z? We've talked about so many stats where they didn't get shots on target for a period of time. They didn't do X, they didn't do Y. I don't know if the numbers back us up on that. I don't know if we just take a really objective, black and white view of Pat Vieira's team from the beginning of the season to when he got sacked and said, okay, based on the games after, would they win those games is one question. Would they win them like this?
Mm.
is another question. And I don't think we saw anything to suggest that. I thought that they might win games. The games that I've got against them 1-0, 2-1, those are the games they might draw or win, right? Roy, who's meant to be boring and defensive, and because people change, people learn. He's come back and it's like he's just let them off the leash. They're moving mad. You know, against Leeds,
and he's never been that type of manager as well. So it's weird
Never.
that they're playing that kind of style of football.
He's come back, he's seen what Pat's put there, he's seen all the attacking talent, and he's kind of changed the midfield shape to kind of say, well, look, have a one-man holding, you two, go and cause havoc. It's high risk, but if you do it enough, it will yield rewards. And 2 games in, and 1 deflected off the bar goal later, he's got 6 points.
Yeah.
I know Zaha didn't play on Saturday. Do you think
I think
as Elise play better without him?
Much better.
Yep.
Go on,
There's no reliance on passing through Zaha.
Listen. The degrees of separation between me and him are not big enough, innit? No. I'm well known for my views on Zaha and Palace. I think he slightly stifles them, right? Because when he plays, it's a bit like a basketball team. When they give the ball to LeBron all the time, or they, you know, as a fan watching it, it just feel like the ball goes through him a lot. He's a wonderful player, but if for a particular game his output isn't high enough, you see it in the Palace output. But when he's not playing, I feel like the ball's distributed a lot more evenly. I think they have a lot more routes to penetrate the team's defense. But when he's playing, because he's so good, he's great with the ball. It's very, very one-dimensional. That's just my personal opinion. And I've been and watched them live a couple of times this season, and I'm like, the guy is good, but it just, I just feel like he's too much of a focal point for them. Without him on Sunday, it was much more expressive. I don't know, maybe the new expressive Roy, that changes slightly, and they use him as more part of the team, and it's better. But I think as a team, they're able to just play a bit more freely when he's not there.
He's injured now to the end of the season, though, right? So I don't think he's even playing for Palace again.
It's not good, man.
His contract's done.
Yeah, it's not good. And I hate it when players are injured and they're looking for a new deal. I don't think it's great for them.
But yeah, it's just, I'm glad. To be fair, I did actually back Roy on the bus. I'll throw that in there. But I reckon when Zaha's not there, they just look more freer. I don't know. He has this sort of thing about him where he kind of looks like, I'm the best. I'm the best. It's got to come to me. If it doesn't come to me, then what are we doing, sort of thing. And I feel like Eze, Elise, they grow when he's not there. They take on more responsibility. And so I think they're just doing better without him. To be fair, if I was Palace, I wouldn't give him a new contract.
No, I think it's time for him to. I think he needs to go and play at a bigger club and play. I think it's a madness that he's a
club.
He definitely deserves a new
100%.
contract.
What when we say bigger, what sort of level are we talking?
I'm thinking he needs to go and play for a team that's pushing for Europa League.
What, like
a Villa?
Villa will suit him well.
Oh, that's not that much different to Palace, though, is it?
No, I mean,
I think right now it is.
it is, man.
I think Villa will be a good move for him.
Yeah,
Under Emery, he'll be dope under Emery.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a step up. And I think if he ends his career without a decent, at least European run, I think
Fulham?
someone of his talent. Yeah, Fulham. Yeah,
Brighton.
Fulham better than Palace.
Yeah, that's Brighton.
Maybe not Fulham. Well, they're going in the right direction though. If you look at Fulham players, if you look at the manager, if you look at what they're doing there, over the next 2 years, I would argue that one club is going in one direction.
Yeah, I see that, but I think right now, if you look at the league
Palace
table,
have got better players than Fulham, to be fair.
I think Villa
Attacking wise,
suits him.
agree.
Attacking wise, I say Palace have got better players.
Unfortunately, attacking isn't enough for us. They're shooting us right now. Right? I don't know. I just think that he shouldn't be at a club that's consistently fighting for relegation. I think his talent, he should be playing for clubs that are,
most definitely.
Newcastle?
Like a Leicester. A Leicester when they were Leicester, right?
Yeah.
That kind of team, 100%. Newcastle.
Newcastle won't get a Newcastle team.
You never know. Like
I can get in it.
Yeah, Eddie Howe buying not established players, isn't it?
If Newcastle get Champions League, they're not going to go for Zaha.
No, I agree.
Why not? If he's out of contract.
No.
I don't. I think if Eddie Howe's the manager, maybe. I think with his age, I don't think he gets a Champions League team. I don't think he gets a Champions. I think
Not in this country, no.
yeah, well, that's why
he might even go abroad. You know?
That'll be a good.
I would love
go
to see him
abroad.
abroad. I
Yeah,
think it would be great.
I think
But
abroad.
but again, 30 doesn't really matter. I don't know how far he's from 30, but it doesn't matter these days. He's in good shape. He'll be on a free. So people are going to look at it as I'm getting a very talented player for a lot cheaper than I normally would. He probably feel like he's got a point to prove, right? So I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get... Could he go to West Ham?
Don't do it to yourself.
That's a good shout.
Don't do it to yourself.
Why?
Don't do it to yourself. West Ham.
That's a good shout.
Why is it a good shout?
I think
But
it's a good shout.
it's West Ham just not having one bad season.
Yeah, I think it's one bad season, bro. Look at their recent history. It's one bad season.
Yeah, I think that's
They
a good
finished
shout.
Europe,
But this ain't the norm for Palace either. They don't usually
For the last couple of years, it
It
is.
has been, bro.
man.
Yeah.
West Ham isn't going forwards.
I
I'm
think
not
that's
gonna lie
a
to you.
good shout.
Definitely.
West
It's more
Ham's
going
not
forward than
going
Palace.
No, Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle, that's going forward. West Ham is not going forward, man.
I think
But
it's a bad
next
season.
season, West Ham will probably come above Brighton and them teams, and
You
well,
think
not
so?
about Brentford. They'll come above Brentford
Especially
next
Rice
season.
days. They're not doing that again. Put it
Why?
this way.
Why would you say that though? West Ham will finish above Brentford
I don't see
next
it.
season.
Oh, they have for the last couple
Yeah,
seasons.
They've got a better
it's
manager.
It's just one bad season.
They've got young players that are doing well. I don't
Yeah.
see why they're gonna just go
West
above
Ham,
them.
Let's put it this way.
Rice is probably
win
gonna
Europe,
move.
win Europe this season, so that's affected their
They
season.
still are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They could win that. They might even win it. But
Right,
yeah,
so if you're Zaha, let's look at this from a football point of view. You're leaving Palace if he leaves, right? Would you go to Brentford, Brighton? Because, Brighton,
Brighton's a possibility.
he don't.
Brighton's
get
a
in that team.
possibility.
He don't. Mitoma plays there. I don't think he gets in that team.
I think he gets in the Brighton team. I think someone like De Zerbi, the football he plays, you get in that Brighton team. And also, if you're Brighton, is Zaha a player that helps you maintain this level now?
Yeah.
Rather than it looking like, this is just one of the better seasons for Brighton. They'll be back down with Palace. Football's a funny game. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended up on Newcastle. Wouldn't surprise me. Basically, any of the guys who finish 8th to 5th or 6th, I won't be surprised if he rocks up at any of them. All the teams just below that were trying to get in there. So Villa, I won't be surprised if he rocks up at Villa.
What type of role would you put Zaha in this team? Because at Palace, he's the focal point, the be all and end all.
Yeah.
When we're talking about these teams, are we talking about him just playing a role?
Yeah,
being,
just
just,
playing a role.
just
Like
being,
a team
just
player.
being another
A team
player.
player.
He's not
Yeah,
gonna
just
go
being,
there and
not
be-
being the superstar. And all that. Okay,
Yeah.
You don't get any of
I
these
can
teams.
get on board with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not going
I
to
can
get
on board
any
with
of these things and be the main man there, in my
Mm.
opinion. But let's put it this way. If you're Villa, if you had to pick one, I know they play on different sides, but if you had to pick one, Leon Bailey or Zaha, who are you picking?
that. Zaha.
Well, there you go.
Mm.
And Leon Bailey starts to read now. Emery might say, well,
Mm.
Leon works well off the ball and da-da-da-da-da.
Mm.
Some of the things that Zaha is not famed for. But if you go there and work with him, he'll tell you before you sign, listen, when you come here, you got to do both sides of the game, etc.
Mm.
So you could already look at a team like Villa and be like, well, on ability and what output, Zaha would go in there. You could probably do the same with Newcastle. Like, I've been critical of Zaha's output over the years, but that's because I think he's sick, bro. I said it to people before. If you think of pure wingers, after Mahrez and Raheem, in the time Zaha's been in the Prem, you will struggle to name a whole lot of players that are better than him as in ability wise. You'll struggle. That's how highly I think of him. I think he's that good. So I think in most of those teams, if he gets signed for them, he's playing. I think he's playing. But it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. And it'll be interesting to see, he's on a free, man. I think that always helps as well because whatever salary he wants or thinks he should get, he's the cheaper buy. You're not paying the club for him. So
He needs to aim for a bigger club though.
yeah, I agree.
Where he's
I
going
agree.
for.
I want to see him play in Europe. I'm not making a big deal out of it, but for someone of his talent to not have a decent European campaign, I think it's crazy. I want to see him play in Europe. I think it'd be a madness. And then Liverpool Arsenal 2-2. Lads,
Big size, boy.
I don't know how we've done.
these sides are
what,
quite
an
big,
hour and
lads.
40
What's
going on?
hour and
What's
40
going on?
minutes about this.
I'm gonna
this
set
game.
the
Go
scene,
on.
right? So I heard a lot of people say, going to Anfield and getting 1 point is great. Going to Anfield and getting a draw is a decent result, blah, blah, blah. I think that's total rubbish. Only because if you look at the actual game, right, it's 2-0 for a long period of time, right? So for me, you've let go of a 2-0 lead, and I'm actually happy that a 2-2 draw at Anfield makes me unhappy because it shows that we've come a long way.
Yeah,
The progress is there.
Yeah, but when you look at the game, I think there's two things for me, and I'll open it to you lot. One is, we played fantastic for 35, 40 minutes, and then it just, Liverpool woke up, the crowd woke up. Our brethren Granite, he as my friend put it, kind of he lit the blue torch paper, and you don't need to wake up the 12th man at any point in time. But that's not an excuse, right? It's still, we should have stuck to what we do. Arteta said it. We didn't stick to what we were doing. We didn't continue that. And then I think he got the subs wrong. I think Arteta got the subs wrong, both in terms of timing and personnel, right? And it's funny, my friend who I was watching it with, he was shying at me like I was Arteta about Zinchenko. For time, he's like, guys, tired. We're good now. Let's get Tini in and lock it up, etc., right?
Gosh.
But he was happy with the result, but it was just certain things. I didn't understand the Odegaard for, I can't say his name properly, Kiwior. Kiwior. I didn't understand that one. The other sub, I kind of got it. So for me, I just think there was a bit of a turning point, and I've got to be honest, Liverpool battered us for 55 minutes, bro. But we were 2-0 and we had a 2-0 lead. I think with slightly different subs, he gives the team a slightly better chance. And then at the depth, right at the depth, just needed a little. But he's tired. I just needed literally. I did that pass to be 1 meter to the right, or whatever measurements it is. And I know Saka is toasting Alisson, bruv. And then I'm not having this convo.
Can I say that? You see on Saka, yeah?
So yeah.
I think he should have been taken off. I don't think Gabriel Jesus should have come off. I think it should have been Saka for Trossard. Because Saka wasn't really in the game, bro.
He's had a long injury, bro.
He had a long injury.
Jesus.
He played most of the game, bro. He played 90 minutes the week before that.
But
the reason is
That's
you want the pace on the break. You want Saka and Martinelli's pace on the break. That's why them two will stay on.
Actually, it's like different. I think Saka's got to the point now where he's been so consistent with his execution, yeah? If something is happening late in that game, you want your best consistent, you know what I mean? Outputter on the pitch. Because you're right, he wasn't really in that game. But if you see that last chance that Martinelli had,
if he gave him the ball properly, it would have been goal.
You want him on the pitch because in your team, he's one of 2 or 3 people. Him, Martinelli, and probably Odegaard at the moment, who on Trossard, if he's on the pitch, there's 4 who are executing at a high level.
Decision making is 10.
Yeah, so that's why. I agree, but that's why. And that ball, that goes in, and then, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what you think.
Well, great game, first of all.
Yeah.
Great game. Great game.
Sorry, I can't be neutral. I can't be objective about it.
No, I can be objective.
No, as a football fan, it was a good game.
Bro.
Like, if you take your Arsenal hat off, it was a good game of football.
I don't know why you're so happy with draw.
I'm happy at the dejection in the room. Like, I can see that's only
It's progress.
Yeah, no, it's like, to be like, as a Liverpool fan, like, other than the City game a couple of weeks ago, the first 40 minutes we haven't been dominated like that. Like, bar Real Madrid as well. I was worried that you guys were going to hit 3 and 4s that first 40 minutes.
Yeah, Ken was saying it's good lessons. Yeah.
It was just weird, like, not weird, but I haven't seen an Arsenal like that at Anfield for many years. Like, just come play, freedom, you controlled the ball, passing it at will. Like, we were chasing shadows for so long. Like, it was, like I said, I was sitting there thinking, Arsenal are going to, like, really roll us over. I know the whole Granite incident has kind of been debated about lighting the blue torch paper, etc. It kind of did, but you still had a lot in the game.
Yeah. I agree.
To be like, right, we can settle this down and, you know what I mean, control the game. I think getting the goal just before half time as well kind of put a little bit of a dagger in you. I don't think we controlled it for like the whole of the second half. I think there was like a 10-minute period from like 65 to 75 minute where you kind of found your feet a little bit, kind of kept the ball, passing it around. You weren't really creating much, but you were just like kind of like just kind of killing off the game a little bit.
We also have to remember Liverpool missed a penalty.
Yeah, I think if most scores at penalty, we score
Liverpool win that
3-4 goals.
Slow down, mate.
No, I agree.
If he scores that penalty, you score 3-4.
Yeah, the confidence.
Yeah, like,
Liverpool win that game.
Because he was playing.
They might have won the game. Doesn't mean they go on to roll us over just because you scored that
I'm not
penalty.
saying it's a roll over. Like, I'm not saying that you wouldn't have scored. Like, there were goals in that game, regardless, innit? Like, it was an open game. But I think like the confidence that it would have given us, like, to equalise so early in the second half, I think it was like the 51st minute or something like that. I think we would have gone on and scored like
It's a bit
maybe
like
one or two
Saka.
goals.
Mo was in the game, but I don't think he had a great game. There was lots of positions where he was in the box. He's not even hitting target. It's going wide, it's going high. So that's why I think if he had scored that pen, that settled him, and I think it went the other way with him.
Second goal,
Missed
that would
that
have been the
pen.
second goal again.
Yeah,
And
then
For me, from an Arsenal perspective, I actually think it's not a bad result.
No,
Because, let me give you my perspective on it,
no, you're probably right.
is that if you look at Liverpool, I think it was more about Liverpool than Arsenal.
Mm.
If you look at Liverpool, they're not the team that they were, but they still have that DNA.
Yeah.
So at certain
And they still got the
times,
quality
they
players,
can,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
at certain times they can still move back into that team.
Mm.
And we've seen it with all the big games. If you look at the Big Six table, just the big games, Liverpool are right up there,
Mm.
points-wise.
I fully
the thing-
understand that.
If you look at the top four, the other three teams in the top four, Liverpool beat them all at Anfield.
No, I fully understand that. But I think you played a Liverpool team who hadn't won in the league for 3 games since they beat Man United.
Yeah.
You're 2-0 up at Anfield, bossing the game, and you come away with the game that you nearly lost. I don't think you can be happy considering
The
You
way
can-
they
you can-
where-
you can be
I didn't say I was happy. I just said happy.
you said it's not a bad point. But okay,
it's
but
not a
in the
bad
totality,
point.
you can take away Arsenal's season. You can be happy with that because you're doing really well. But I think you want to win the league, regardless. I don't care if you're at Anfield or whatever. If you're 2-0 up, trying to win the league, I think you've got to be able to have the game management to see the game out.
You're not gonna. There's no way you're gonna go there at Anfield and dominate a game for 90 minutes. We done well to get 40 minutes out of it. You're not gonna dominate. At some point, there's some. You are gonna have to do something.
I'm a Liverpool fan, yeah. I know there's this whole myth around Anfield and the 12th man,
I
etc.
agree.
It doesn't always come to fruition because I've seen Man United roll up to Anfield when Man United were challenging and winning titles and just kill us. I'm sitting at home going, when can
Has
Ferguson
it been
leave the league?
recently? What about recently? You haven't seen that.
Yeah,
though?
Klopp era.
Yeah, you haven't seen that recently.
No, but
Not
Man
this
City,
team.
Man City have come to Anfield and beat us when they've won the league.
Man City, bro.
But this is my point, though. Like, this is my point. Like, you were in a position to close off the game, and you can't say, oh, because Granit and Trent had a little tete-a-tete for.
No, I'm
Two-
not
2
blaming you.
minutes.
I
I'm
didn't
just
mention
saying
that.
those are
I
just the
think,
little things
those are just
where-
little things.
You can see a little change in, you could just in those games of fine margins, those things matter. So I think
the goal was a minute after that, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the goal had more impact on that than
Yes,
the
of course,
Gracia
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but I don't.
And what it is, we've got to remember with Arsenal,
They're
this
young.
ain't the final form of
Yeah,
Arsenal.
yeah.
The Arsenal was still getting to that
This
level.
is ahead of
Yeah.
time.
Well, ahead of schedule,
Yeah.
way ahead of schedule.
Yeah,
So-
so I just look at it on the individual game. To Keith's point, the way we played at the beginning, the way we could have seen it through. That's where my disappointment comes from. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. As I said, me being disappointed with a draw at Anfield
Progress.
is progress from previous years.
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm just looking at that game, what I saw, how he played it, and I just think Arteta's game management as well needs maturing.
I totally agree with you on the subs.
Mm.
My only disappointment in the game was the second half. I felt that Liverpool outplayed us for the whole second half.
second half.
And that shouldn't happen. At some point, you should go, okay, we need to get a foothold in this.
Mm.
Personally, I would have bought on Jorginho. I would have bought on
Yeah.
Jorginho and had him and Partey together just to try and get a foothold in the game.
We're taking off Xhaka.
I would've taken off.
Odegaard. I was
Okay.
taking off Odegaard.
I was surprised that Odegaard and Saka, I was worried. They were the two players I was worried about the most
Mm-hmm.
going into the game,
Yeah.
especially with the midfield that we put out. Like you can see, like in the first half. Like,
And the cool thing
and-
about football is it goes 2-2, and you wish Odegaard was on.
Yeah.
Pull some strings.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? T, what do you think?
Bruv. But I feel like the first 40 minutes, I feel like that's what Arteta wants for the whole 90, innit? That's the final form of Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
That for a whole 90, just controlling the game, suffocating teams, you just can't see a way out for yourself. Just that's it, innit? But like, don't like saying it, but it is Anfield, it is Liverpool, and the only time Liverpool's turned up a few times this season, and it was against us at Emirates, against Man United, and against us at Anfield again. Maybe a couple other times, but you lot turn up when it came to us this season. Anyway, turned up in the
we
second
normally
half,
do, to be honest.
whatever, but turned up in the second half, And that's football, bruv. Like, first half could be us, next half could be them. Like, it is Liverpool. It's not Wolves or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's Liverpool, innit? I don't agree with anything to do with Xhaka at all. I just feel like it's just lazy. Yeah, blame Xhaka.
It's
No,
not
I'm not
blaming
blaming
him.
him.
It's not blaming
I'm
Xhaka.
not even saying he shouldn't have done
It's not
it.
blaming
I'm not blaming him. I think that's one of the things he's good
No, he
for.
shouldn't have done it.
But
He
it had
shouldn't
a
have done
fact. It had a
Yeah,
factor.
but that's just, it's
Just a
football.
factor.
It's not.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done it.
It's football. You can't say it's not football.
Okay,
No,
fair
he
enough.
should have done it. He should have done it.
I hear you, but for what we're trying to do to win the game, he has turned.
No, it's just
And he's
easy
one of the
to say
leaders.
that. It's easy to say
It's
that.
not. It's clear as day.
What turned it up here was he done whatever he done,
Mm.
which was minimal when you look at it. What turned up the crowd and everything was Trent.
No, he went back to Trent.
But he
No,
gave
he
Trent
didn't.
pushed
He turned
him.
around. Trent pushed
But
him.
he
so
started-
gonna
he
turn
started,
around.
though.
No,
He's
he's
not
not-
just going
he's
to keep
not-
walking
Okay,
the
but
same
here it
way.
is.
Started
He
it.
pushed him
Hear
in
this
his
though.
back.
If Trent
bro.
pushes him and he just turns around, smiles, and carries on running, that doesn't happen.
No. He turns around because
Nah,
Xhaka
he
knows.
walks to him and
Come
goes,
on,
No,
man.
but
What's he talking about, bro?
No, but it doesn't really matter. He's turned around because he's pushed him. He knows the ref's gonna come over and probably book Trent. I can go face to face with you, but that's normal. It's gonna stop, and the ref's coming over.
But Xhaka
Trent
started
pushed
it
me
in
in
the
my
first
back.
place.
But I know, but even what he done, it wasn't even like a bad challenge.
It was.
Late
He
challenge.
just went and put head.
I'm saying it's not a bad
him in the head for no reason.
Bro, what? So he challenged him.
Hey,
It
but
was a
basically
brush.
clipping the thing.
It's a
clipping
brush.
the incident.
Brushed
Bro,
him.
it was a poor
late.
challenge, bro. The ball's gone.
Challenge.
The ball's gone.
He
He's left.
challenged him.
Okay, the ball's gone. He's left one on him just to rile up Trent a bit.
Left one on him
Trent-
as well.
no, it
that
wasn't
was
a-
not leaving one on him.
Okay.
No, so how it
It was
happened,
after the ball was gone though.
Xhaka got fouled by Fabinho.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't think it was a foul.
he thought it was a
tried to
foul.
buy a foul and then he
So
got upset.
Trent,
So he
Trent
ran
got the
ran
ball.
Yeah.
He went to get the ball. Was a little bit late on it. Like, he wasn't malicious, but he was a little bit
He was late on
Trent.
purpose, not
Yeah.
He was late
And
on
then
purpose.
that's when Trent pushed him. And I agree, Mark. Like, Trent pushed him. He should have been like, all right, I know what you're trying to do. Because it's Xhaka. He's gone back in it. And then they stood head to head. And you can see the crowd.
All of this
You can see the crowd have gone up.
Xhaka, he's
No, if
gone
anyone
back.
did that,
Yeah.
he riled up the
Everyone
crowd.
do it.
Hold on,
Last
hold on.
year, it was Arteta, bro.
But the point about it being Xhaka is because we know there are other players who are just different personality-wise, right? They would have been like, all right, don't worry, we're winning, it's cool.
No.
But so I don't blame him in the sense of, if he didn't do that, the game would have gone different. But it definitely had a little impact on not only the Liverpool players.
If it was Saka, if it was Jesus,
yeah,
if it was Odegaard, what? No one ain't.
Them man are smiling and running away.
No,
man.
Jesus,
no.
Jesus,
What are you talking about? And
Jesus
and
is
on top
going
of
back
it,
and putting your head
and
to
on
them.
top of it,
Jesus.
no one's gonna keep on saying, "Oh, this is why. This is look."
No,
this
but
is
you're
why
just
it's
saying
But
that
he's
happening."
got
because it's
previous. He's
Xhaka.
got previous.
No,
That's
wait,
what
wait.
people are saying.
But it was all
He's got
it was so
previous.
silly because it was all because of a foul that wasn't even a foul. It was he just tried to back into the man
So it's Xhaka again then?
and go over.
But
So it's Xhaka again then?
Everything
He didn't
that
get a free kick.
happened before the Trent
No.
push was silly. It was like
Caused by
Small
Xhaka.
thing.
but
he
it was
start- he
like
started.
little. It weren't even like a major
but
thing.
in
Like
matches like that people will pull on that. But I don't agree with you though. I do think that because there was a little point where Jesus was so vexed. He's got a little streak in him.
He was going-
and he was
Yeah.
running around like
Yeah.
He was magnificent, man.
Yeah.
Like,
But VDB took him out though.
Oh,
Cleaned him out.
yeah.
That was horrible. Yeah. Cleaned him out. Yo, you like that? You enjoyed that?
I'm not gonna lie.
No.
VVD right now.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for Martinelli's goal because the way that came at him, I don't know what he was expected to do. Right? He
Yeah,
just came at him.
yeah.
But he's losing his powers, bro. When he clattered Martinelli on the line, that's when I knew because he was like, "You're not getting past me, bro. So I'm just gonna clatter you." VVD was, but he was getting there before the players. Now this VVD, it's sad to see. Still,
It happens, man. It happens. Football.
Let me just quickly go back to Xhaka thing here. If that goes back, no, hear me out though. If he just runs off here, the head-to-head thing don't happen. The crowd don't think, oh, fight, and get riled up. We go in 2-0 at half-time, most likely. Different team.
I don't think you can say that. Though.
No, but you
this is what
can
I'm
though.
saying. You can't just.
You can go.
You
I don't
can't
think
say
you could
that as
attribute the
now
goal
why we
to
lost.
that
I
incident.
mean, we drew.
I think you can small because
No.
No, I
you
don't think
you can
keep it, though.
visibly notice the crowd like go.
Even Trent, bro.
Okay,
Trent
wait.
had a rocket.
All right,
crowd
wait.
ain't on the
So
pitch,
what-
though.
so what- so what if
Trent
we-
was flopping all over
So
the
what
place.
if we a minute later scored and it was 3-0 and we finished the game 3-0 after that Xhaka thing? Is everyone going to start blaming Xhaka?
No, praising him. Praising
They're not
Xhaka.
gonna-
Saying,
they're not gonna
he's
blame
good.
him like for
praise-
riling up the
yeah,
crowd.
They're gonna praise
and stuff.
Xhaka.
Why?
Yeah.
We're at Anfield.
Why
How
would
we
he
put-
do that?
How is that
Why
going to go
would
in
they
our
say
favour?
that?
Running up the crowd at Anfield. We're at Anfield. We're away. It's not going to.
I think it's too circumstantial. I think it was unnecessary,
Very
Wow.
unnecessary.
but I can point to a couple of things on the goal that have nothing to do with Xhaka. Number one, Zinchenko, you can't be getting nuts like that, bruv.
That was
Oh,
second
that's
half.
second
That was
goal.
second
That's
half.
even a second
That
goal.
was second half.
Oh, bruv, I'm so disoriented. This
Yeah,
game
but-
peed me off.
But to be fair, like not to be fair, but the point I'm trying to make is that I think that second half can really help Arteta with the rest of your games
That's true.
going
Yeah,
forward.
that is
Like,
very true.
I'm not saying that we kind of exposed the flaws that you have, but we highlighted a few things where
I think
You
you
can
can. I think that's the closest we're gonna get as a understanding of what the City game is gonna be like, right?
Yeah.
So I actually think you could say, well, look, when you play a team, there's only one or two other teams in the league that can dominate us the way we dominate teams, and that second half shows the flaws when we are being dominated, and he will look at that and say, right, how can we counter that? When you do get the ball and you've been dominated for 10, 15 minutes, how can you start our way of playing again? Because it just felt like every time we got the ball, we would panic. I'm seeing Holding just swinging his leg and clearing it.
Bruv, don't you hate? You know when
Don't
your
say
team's
that
on the
name.
siege, yeah, and
Don't
say
say
you've
that
got
name.
like a goal kick, and you look away, look back, then the other team's got the ball straight away. I'm like,
And
how
this
did
is-
that happen?
That second half was Liverpool.
Yeah.
That was
we
Liverpool.
dominated. Yeah, we dominated
But
most
that's
of it.
it.
But I guess from a coaching point of view, and I guess those are the small moments where subconsciously you kind of see players come out, right? Because at that moment, no matter what's happening, Arteta does not want you hoofing that ball to Liverpool centre back. You know what I mean? He wants you to find a pass, settle down. And so I think those are the kind of things where, again, in the next few games, and he always says it, he's been consistent with it. Cool. Forget the title, the next game. Because you win the title by winning the next game.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think that is a point that I think will need to be rectified, because when it comes to City, even against City, we still have a lot of the ball. It's not like other teams when they play City. But when we switch it on, it's all great, innit? When at some point they switch it on, which they will, how are we going to counter it? How do we swing it back in our favour? How do we make sure the game management is on point? And they are very good at the dark arts, right? But he knows better than anyone. Them lot, Rodri, you know, he took the dark art so far, he was trying to clatter our players on international duty. Yeah?
To be fair, the time wasting started very early in the game.
Well, mind your
here we
business,
go.
man. There you go.
Oh, come on, you.
It did start early. I'm not
Come
gonna
on,
lie.
I'm not even like being biased.
Boys, do what you need to do. Yeah? Do what you need to do.
I
Oh
don't
no, I
think it was-
respect. I
I
said
don't
it in the
think it
group
was
chat.
time
I
wasting.
respect it.
Because of that though, like to actually like just waste time until
Yeah,
then.
it's to
I
break
feel
it
like
up.
it was just to cool everything down. Like,
Yeah,
you
like they
lot
said
was
on
just
commentary, innit? Like
on
when we had a
like,
chance,
serious thing.
there were tactical
Exactly.
injuries.
Big up
just to slow the-
Ramsdale as well.
Oh yeah,
Right.
definitely,
mate.
definitely.
Bro, I was
about to
Shout him
come
out.
to him.
I was
Big
like,
Ramsdale.
That save,
Bro.
and I think the angle they had live when he actually took the shot was from behind him. You know that shot behind
The
him?
Salah one you're talking about.
Yeah, the Salah save.
the
I mean, he
deflection.
made many others. The one-on-one,
Konate.
yeah.
you know,
But
Konate.
Konate, I was
Nunes.
celebrating.
I don't know how he
Nunes.
missed that, bro.
Like,
Nunes should have scored as well.
When you look at everything and like break it
missed
down,
penalty.
you gotta say it's a good point at the end.
Mm.
Like you have to.
In his,
yeah,
in his,
break it down, you
like
can't-
before the game, you say take a point at Anfield, yes, but I think the way
2-0
you
up,
play
you say-
and 2-0 up,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's like a little
Yeah.
pang in it. Like
And that's
just
one of the little things I do hate sometimes about when people talk back about games. They talk about the end, right? Like there wasn't the 89 to 90
Yeah.
minutes that got you there. So yes, if you come from another planet and say Arsenal with this record went to Anfield and got a draw, you'd be like, that's a good result.
Yeah.
Then when I tell you they were 2-0 up and they were 2-1 up for what, 89 minutes? It was, when did you score the second goal?
Yeah, it's
The
like
equaliser?
88th minute.
88th
Yeah.
minute,
Jeez.
right?
And there was a 20-second period where either team could have won the game. as well.
Exactly. And then even after they equalised, we just needed, you know, a better quality from the player who arguably has shown the most consistent quality, well, one of three players that showed the most consistent quality this season. We just
Heartache,
needed
man.
it then. So that's why I'm kind of talking about the way I am. But yeah, listen, Ramsdale, absolute hero. I heard someone on the radio say, I didn't see a cape, but he should have had one on.
He's man of the match. That says a lot
He's
as
good.
well about
He's-
the point.
yeah.
bro.
Like I was a bit skeptical when you signed him,
We all
but
were.
he's proved
Yeah.
his worth.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can tell, like sometimes you need a goalkeeper who's a bit of a character in it,
Yeah.
and like you can tell he's one of those character goalkeepers.
Bro, he was smiling when it was penalty time, bro. I didn't understand that.
He's not,
He was smiling. He's not all
But they
there.
always say keepers
He's
all a
dope.
bit mad, innit? You
Yeah,
go back to
he definitely
Schmeichel.
is.
Yeah,
I think
we played with one.
Yeah, I think Seaman wasn't mad enough. I think that was Seaman's problem, man. He wasn't mad enough.
Yeah.
He didn't have that crazy streak.
Yeah.
Jens Lehmann was on job.
Lehmann.
Lehmann
my
He was
God.
too far.
Job. Yeah.
Seaman weren't enough and
Well,
Lehmann was too
Jens
far.
Lehmann was the Duncan Ferguson of keepers. I reckon if you said the right thing to him,
Yeah.
he would have cracked your jaw in the game. I reckon Lehmann had it in him still.
So,
what
in
do you-
the bigger picture for
Yeah,
the
about to
title
say.
race
Yeah.
and everything,
What do you think?
I think the only thing it changes now, we have to get something at City. If we want to win it, I think if we won yesterday, we could afford to lose the City
Yeah,
game.
I
But
agree.
now we have to get something at City. I don't think we can lose that game now.
So let me say it this way. Everything else remaining equal. So pretty boring statement, but it's important. So we win all our games, they win all our games, yeah? Because that's not a guarantee on both teams. But we both get to the City game. There's a couple of important things for me. I think at that point, if I've got my maths correct, City will have 2 games in hand when they play us, right?
Yeah.
Before and after. So even our game doesn't take them to 1 game in hand. I think they will have 2 games in after because of they've got a Brighton game that's not been rearranged yet. And this weekend or one of the weekend, then the FA Cup.
Next weekend.
Next weekend FA Cup.
Yeah.
So they're going to rock up to the Arsenal game with 2 games in hand, which as always goes both ways because you still got to go win those games, right? And I think to your point, we would have had more of it in our control if you rock up to that game with maximum points and they've got their 2 games in hand. Now they have more control than we would like. So if City win all their games, then and we win all our games minus the City one, I think we end up at the same points and then win on goal difference.
We're at the same points.
Yeah.
Because
Because
if when we get to that City game, if we win all our games to them and they win all their games, we'll be 9 points clear going into that game and they'll have 2 games in hand.
Yes.
So that looks massive. 9 points. That would be huge to get to that. To get to that point.
And
So that's why I believe that we need to get something at City now.
So you played Brighton and Chelsea before the City game.
And
Chelsea knew you like
No, they're after.
thereafter.
They're after the City game.
Yeah.
We play West Ham and Southampton before the City game.
Yeah, West
I
Ham
thought you-
away.
I thought
And
you had
then
Chelsea before.
Chelsea and Brighton are 2 games after the
Yeah.
City game.
And I don't, let's not take for granted that that City roll over Brighton.
No, not at all.
Think,
Like, yeah.
I don't think that's a granted. I'm actually relying on Brighton to get a draw at that game.
It's the hope that kills you.
I
I told you, man. I've been in the
isolation.
position, man.
Because after the Chelsea game, it's interesting. After we play Chelsea, City then play 3 Premiership games before we play again. So they're going to play their 2
So they're
games in
gonna be
hand.
their turn.
Yeah. So we're going to play 3 games in a row before we play. So
Bruv, watching City and hoping for
gonna
them to
be-
lose is like, and you know what's annoying now?
I know
yeah?
you got the PSD.
Sky have just started replaying Company's goal v Leicester
Oh.
when they won the league. And I was
That's because
watching
of that Keane goal, though.
Say that again.
It's because of that Keane goal, the one
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Everton
yeah,
against
yeah.
Tottenham. That's
Yeah,
why they
and I was
replayed.
watching that game thinking Leicester can do something.
I
They were
did-
playing well, and he just slap. Of all the players to slap at top bins, Company.
I did see a stat though. So if Man City win all their games and win the league, that would break the Premiership winning streak record. They're gonna have to break a record
Wow.
to
But
Is
they're
it
5 in a
15
row.
if they win all of them? I think it's 15.
It's I think it's 14 games.
Oh, will it be
They win
14?
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
so,
they won 5 in a row already.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
some
So they're gonna have to win another 9 games in a row. No one's ever
See what you got to do to beat Arteta?
So, no, but that's
Well,
what
that
I'm
could be
saying.
famous last words.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
but
I hope they don't do it. Yeah.
No, but that's why I made the point. So to for us to lose the title, City are gonna have to basically do something that no one's ever done in the Prem.
Well, providing that we carry on winning.
Yeah,
Mm.
but our winning is statistically more likely. Excuse me, basically,
But that
because
Liverpool result,
we didn't win on Sunday.
that Liverpool
So
result,
yeah.
in terms of consecutive
But I think
wins,
we got harder fixtures though than them. I would say
Yeah.
the running.
You got the
As a
Newcastle-
neutral, I'm looking forward to it.
Newcastle,
Two
Brighton,
two top teams.
Who
playing
do you
good
want to
football.
win? Who do you want to win it?
Who do I want to win?
Yeah.
Manchester City.
Even though they've beat you to like 4 titles in the last
Irrelevant.
3 years.
Irrelevant.
so you want City to win their 5th title in 6 years?
he just wants them to prove that they can do it to them as well.
It's only because
to
of
us
us,
as
man.
well.
Because of the
Yeah,
proximity.
yeah, yeah.
Was it because of
Just
the
a
proximity of
scumbag.
Arsenal fans?
Like, that's it,
Scumbag,
like-
that's what it is.
Proper
But
Well,
Liverpool's
that's
closer to
scumbag.
Manchester.
Scumbag,
It is
Sure.
scumbag.
proper scumbag behaviour.
Liverpool and Manchester's like 20 minutes away.
Yeah,
He cares about-
no, he only cares about Manchester United. Liverpool. It's funny. I
I don't even really care about Man United, to be honest.
What?
Like,
So if this was Man United, you still
my
want
circle
you
of
want Man
friends are
United?
Arsenal, innit? Like, if I can turn up here, the Sunday, the Monday after the last day of the
it'll be
Premiership.
called off. It'll be postponed.
If we don't win the league, don't turn up to that pod, bro.
Listen, that Liverpool result in
I'm
isolation.
skipping
That
it.
Liverpool
I'm
result in
skipping it.
isolation was very good, but
All
it's
right.
messed us up, man. Badly.
So, very quickly, round the room. Are we still winning the title?
Yes.
Mark,
My heart says yes. My head says I'm not sure.
Daz. Come on, mate. I need an answer.
We needed those 3 points, man.
Come on.
I need an answer.
Come on.
Yeah, we get a draw at City.
Draw. You think that's
Okay.
good enough?
Yeah.
I'm not asking you because I don't want to know. I think I'm just gonna say F it. Arsenal winning the title.
No, but ask him though. What do you think? You don't want us to, but what do you think?
No, I think City have clicked into the gear. Like I say, they've always got a run in them. And I
Yeah, but do you think
they're-
Arsenal have not? They've clicked out of gear? Is that what you said?
Who?
You're saying City have clicked
Remember,
into
if we win
gear?
all our games, we win the title.
Are you saying
That's
Arsenal
what
have
you
clicked out of gear? What are you
No,
saying?
but I just think
He's
you're
basically
more
saying
likely
City.
to
Yeah.
drop points than City. That's all.
Okay.
Well, all City have to do is beat us.
But if
they
you-
win all the
if you
games,
win
beat
it,
us,
like-
that's fine.
All credit to you, man. Like you on the basis of the league now, you deserve to win the league. Like, but I'd hope you
Cool.
All right. And then just quickly before we finish, let me just have a look at Wrexham Watch. Now I know Wrexham is the National League, but that league is
Yeah, I watched the game today,
battle
man.
of the top
What a
two
game,
is
bro.
Sick
cracking
game.
game.
Sick game.
absolutely crazy.
What a game.
I mean, part of me, for the drama, wants Notts County to go up, right? But when you're amassing 100 points, you got to be going up. No, wait, they've got 103 points now. They need 7 more points from their final 4 games. So 2 wins and a draw will do it from the final 4 games, no matter what Notts County do. So to be fair to Notts County, they've taken him to the wire, right? That it doesn't get any more wire than that. I don't think even the Premier can't do that. There's
Yeah, no, it's good, man.
you
It's
know,
a good advert for the long league football as well.
Yeah,
Like I know Wrexham would have brought attention on it because of their owners, etc.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people would have watched today's game, and it was actually a good quality
Yeah, it's
game.
entertaining,
Like
yeah.
that could have been like an EFL game, and no one would have known the difference.
yeah. And people who have watched them. I mean, I'm a sucker for it, right? Because of the documentary, and now check Wrexham's results, etc. But you know, some people who actually watch it are saying Wrexham and Notts County, some of the ball they've played, they would give decent League One teams a run for their money. You know?
That's what surprised me today was
Yeah.
the level of quality that was on the show. I didn't watch all the game, but I watched
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
half.
didn't Sheffield
And
United play them in the FA Cup, and Wrexham
Yeah,
pushed them to the wire?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
That's true. And they've got a championship level manager, right?
I think they need to look at that. I think it's a bit unfair though. One team to go up. If you think one of them two is not going to go up, and the amount of points that they've got,
Yeah, we said this last week. I think it's a little bit protectionist from the league, right? Kind of holding who goes up and who goes down. And also, they're 4 points shy of breaking the records for the most points in the professional league in the history of football. So if
Yeah,
they
that's
keep
mad.
winning, they will have the most points any professional team has ever had.
well, they did lose on Saturday, so it's not a given.
No, it's not a given.
Yeah,
But that's a blip, right?
Yeah.
That's a massive blip. So yeah, let's see what happens in the whole Wrexham piece. And then finally, very quickly, Champions League is back. Hi Frank. Tuesday, you've got Benfica Inter Milan, the game that no one's talking about because City and Bayern are playing. I mean, City got to win it this season, surely. They got to.
I want them to go all the way, but not win it.
I want them to win it.
I like Pep, man. Pep
Yeah, I want
deserves
him to win
another.
I know you like Pep.
Yeah,
You want
I'll-
Man City to win the league.
I've
Nah,
changed
it's
my mind
irrelevant,
on that.
but,
I think City will beat Bayern. I think they'll
Yeah.
win. I think they'll knock
Pep's
them out.
too good a manager just to have one
It's true.
Champions League. with
Wait,
one
just
team.
to have one. That's
No, I mean
one
with one team. Like
Yeah, because he's got 2 now.
he's got 2,
Yeah.
but Pep deserves another one, man.
I think for that
Does he?
team, Haaland, no one deserves it. And he'll tell you himself he doesn't deserve it, but
It doesn't.
I think if they get to the final, he just tinkered too
I
much
think
in the
they've
last
lost it
final.
sometimes because of him. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think
Yeah,
he
he gets
deserves
in his
it.
head. Yeah, he gets in his head.
And at Bayern as well.
Yeah.
What, some of the stuff he done in the semi-final when he was at Bayern, I was thinking, nah.
And Wednesday, we've got AC Napoli and Real Madrid Chelsea. I'll be honest, I'm going to be watching the Napoli game.
No, I want to
For
see
most of it.
Chelsea
No,
get
Madrid.
packed.
Yeah,
man.
I
You've
wanna
got to see
watch
Madrid.
Chelsea
I want to see.
lit.
I want to make it the 8th game of Italian teams that I watch this season.
We're going back to that.
No, I'm definitely going to watch because I think I'm going to be switching the 2, but I'm definitely not. I'm going to keep an eye on that game, man, because I think I don't think it's that much of a story that Napoli beat them. Napoli should beat them.
Yeah.
But-
No, AC Milan beat them 4-1 last week. Last week they beat them.
True, but Napoli have been better in the league. AC Milan have been pretty inconsistent,
Yeah.
but Leao,
I think that was at Napoli as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Leao, brother Giroud, he must be 45 or something now, right?
Still banging goals.
Bruv, he's still doing his thing. And then Real Madrid, Chelsea.
Yeah, can't see anything but Real Madrid, man. I know
You-
they
you
lost
know
at the
what?
weekend, Real Madrid, to
Did they?
Villarreal.
It's the
but,
Champions. No,
I
but
saw
the
them
goals.
against Barca the other day.
No, but the goals that they lost to Villarreal were top
Yeah.
quality. It wasn't sloppiness.
Mm.
It was at Madrid, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at Bernabeu. The Villarreal player, he did a madness. Chelsea are gonna need everybody to
Yeah.
play like my man to beat
This is
them.
going to be a bigger
they
score
need
than the
everyone
Liverpool
to
game.
be on 10.
I don't think Chelsea are gonna get battered. I think Chelsea either get battered, as in 5-6, like real cleaning, or they're gonna make it a lot closer than we think, and Real will go through over the tie. I don't think there's any middle
I don't think it'll
ground.
be 5-6s. I think it'll be like 2-3s. I see
don't know,
Benzema get a hat trick in the new camp last week.
Yeah,
Quality
long for them.
finishes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think we're looking at Real Madrid going through. We expect Napoli to go through. I can't call the City Bayern one. I want City to go through, but I can't call that one. I think that's just gonna go down to who turns up on the day. And then Benfica, Inter Milan. I don't know enough about Benfica's season so far. Inter have been a bit up and down. Lukaku's back. He scored the other day. It's all the races.
Got sent off as well.
Yeah, for his celebration, which is just stupidity. That league is dumb. And then we've got the Europa League on Thursday.
League is dead.
Manchester United in the quarterfinal against Sevilla. Hope you go out. Juventus, Sporting Lisbon, Roma, Feyenoord. Imagine if Jose wins the Europa League.
He's a G, bro.
We won the
Roma
conference.
doing it right. They've gone back up. They've gone up to
They're in
third.
the
in-
top-
Yeah.
in-
Top four now,
in
isn't it?
Serie A.
Yeah. So if he qualifies for the Champions League, progresses in Europa, every year he's done what that project was supposed to do. And everyone talks like he's not a project kind of manager, but he's doing it there, right? Got Dybala there, got Tammy there. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, seeing Juventus in Europa League, I'll never get used to that. Yeah, he's got Smalling there as well. So yeah, and then Thursday Europa Conference League, West Ham, they've got Ghent.
Any other big West Ham's favourite for that? Like, are there any other decent teams?
Is Lazio still in it? Is
Fiorentina still in it, bro.
Fiorentina. But
AZ Alkmaar.
West
Nah.
Ham can win that.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think
West Ham
West
can win
Ham-
that.
Nah, West Ham ain't beating Fiorentina.
Win that and go down, yeah?
To be fair, didn't
No,
rate.
they're not going
Has
down.
anyone won
Did
Europa League?
Leeds do that? No, Leeds won something. Did Leeds-
No, they got to the
No,
Champions League.
Wigan
Went down,
done it.
went down.
Wigan won the FA Cup and got
Yeah.
relegated.
Yeah, Martinez.
Mm.
And less said about him, the better. All right, cool. So some big games this week. I mean, it's back-to-back football. Lovely. Apart from Friday, but we'll take a rest. And then next week, some of the big games, as we talked about earlier, Villa Newcastle's the 12:30 kickoff. Nice game to start with.
Good game.
Chelsea Brighton 3:00. Hey, when it rains, they pause. He's gonna play Madrid and Brighton. I never thought the day where I'll be talking about Brighton in the same week as Madrid as a problem for you. But so yeah, well done, Brighton. Everton, Fulham. To be honest, I think Everton should look to get a point there. Should get some points there.
Is that at Goodison?
Yeah.
They
I
should
think
be going
Everton
to
should
win.
win. I
Like,
think Everton should
like
win
Dad
that.
said, like
Yeah.
Fulham might be on holiday.
Yeah, I
innit?
think
So-
no. I think they'll win that.
Southampton, Palace.
Ooh.
Again, Roy will be looking some points there. Spurs, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth are gonna
I
give
got an
them
upset.
something
I
to
got a
Spurs
draw.
at home, though.
I think that'll be a draw.
do.
Yeah,
Okay.
might score draw. Maybe.
Yeah, 1-1.
Bournemouth
Yeah.
winning that.
I think Tottenham winning. And Kane and Son, the quality gets them over the line. They'll play poorly and then have a couple of flash
Yeah,
moments.
Kane just pops up.
Well,
Yeah.
couple VAR decisions go their
Wolves,
way.
Brentford are away. The Botega's got Wolves playing.
Wolves are a weird team to play, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't know which
Very
Wolves is
weird.
going to turn up, innit?
Shout out
very
that guy for that goal. Was it Nunez? What's his name?
Yeah,
This
Nunez.
oh, what a goal we
That
have
was a
there.
cracking goal.
You know what it?
Mental. Yeah, all right. City, Leicester, 5:30 game.
Oh, that's a
Come
bad-
on, Leicester.
That's
Come on,
a
Leicester.
5-0.
Come on,
That's a
Leicester.
5-0.
I tell you what.
If Leicester get something out of that,
No, nothing.
if Leicester get something out of that, it's like put the ribbons on for
No,
Arsenal.
there's
innit?
nothing.
I tell you
Like,
what.
No
Let's-
chance.
This Leicester team, you
No
can't
chance.
lose to this Leicester
No
team.
Let's see if there's a manager comes in before Saturday. Let's see if we can get the
No,
New
chance.
manager bounce.
The new manager bounce from the guards.
So, but remember, Ward's still in goal, so
Oh, yeah.
Ward, Haaland.
No, they got a new
match, bro.
goalie.
Leicester City.
Yeah, he didn't play the other day.
Leicester City got a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, got some. They
Wolf
played
didn't
some,
play,
play some
though.
next man the other
I
day.
don't know,
Yeah,
man. Sacked him off.
Yeah.
But West Ham Arsenal, so we're away on Sunday 2:00.
Big game.
Forrest Manchester United. Right.
Yeah.
Well, Forrest at home, Man U. Yeah.
Can still
What
do
time's that
something.
game?
Rashford is
The Lingard
a doubt.
derby.
Yeah, Rashford's a doubt, so that's not great.
Casemiro's back though.
Oh, is he
Oh,
back?
okay.
4
Yeah.
games is gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
because
game was the weekend.
Well,
Mm.
all right. So United win. And then Monday is Leeds versus Liverpool. Leeds at home.
Come on, Leeds.
That's a big, big game.
I don't know, man. They've been terrible since.
Wait, are Leeds at home?
Yeah.
Leeds are winning that.
Leeds will win 3-0.
No, listen,
But it's
give
typical
them one.
Liverpool,
Give them one.
Yeah, you never know what Liverpool's going to turn up.
Nah,
man. Like,
Liverpool
they
win
beat us at Anfield already. This
Liverpool
season,
win.
so
So annoying, bro.
They're the only team. Only team beat you at Anfield
Yeah.
this season. Yeah.
crazy.
All right, boys. Well, listen. I think what I take from this week is I'm still upset about the game. By next week, we'll see if Frank's appointment will have even more evidence whether it was any good or not. Roy Watch will continue. If he wins again, then all our takes on the whole Pat V thing have to go down the toilet. So yeah, I think this is going to be a pivotal week for a lot of teams, Europe and domestic. So we will be back next week as always. Remember, please subscribe, follow on all the platforms that you're taking in this content. And thanks for all the listens and support so far. We've been getting lots of feedback. Yeah, keep it coming until we don't want it anymore. But yeah, keep it coming. It's been useful. It's been helpful. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Take
Till next
care.
time. Thank you.
Bless up.
Am I allowed to do that?